Hello.
Hello?
Hello. What's up, bro?
Hey, this is the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk about movies, TV, geek stuff, news, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfucker! With Nary Signs, you know the question is not on here that I could have said yes to would have been a cock ring. I'm like, oh, I've done that. Jeff,
It was called Bibbidi Bobbidi Doorknob.
Stephanie.
The only reason he was invited was because he was dating my friend. It was like a pity invite. And he was like one of the first people to get there. What a loser.
And we have Missy
Yes, I'm here.
is also here.
Missy is also here. A girl has no last name.
Not anymore, am I right? Huh? And special correspondence with Steph Mayer Sr.
Yeah, I don't have to look cute for you.
Oh, no. And this is the What's Up Bro podcast.
That's how winning is done.
Hey, I'm Dave Chappelle, and this is What's Up, Bro.
We're recording. Hurry up. No. No water. No water for you. Hey, guys. I don't know what we're doing this for, but we're doing it. It's Missy from WuBro. What's up? So, Nary and I just decided to record an episode of something, and I'm here, and he's not here yet, so I just started without him, because, you know, fuck the patriarchy. Are you closing the door? There's nobody here. Habit?
Yeah, I mean, I close the door whenever I walk into a room. I wasn't raised in a barn. You know, I may be Hispanic, but I wasn't raised in a barn. So, anyways, welcome to this podcast episode
Of
a
something.
podcast.
Of something.
Of a podcast. So today we are gonna watch Jean-Claude Van Damme.
No, we are not, sir. No, we are absolutely not. So just see how it took me a second. Like, what? I did not agree to that, and now I can't get out of it.
Yeah, so we're gonna watch. I'm kidding. We're gonna watch Steven Seagal's Under Siege.
Oh, that one. Well, in that case,
the 19.
you know, my stomach hurts, so I think I have to go. Bye.
No.
You guys, the worst thing just happened. A picture frame fell by itself and broke. And
But it was right at the moment that I ruffled the blanket that I had.
Oh, maybe the blanket caught it.
But the frame was behind me. Like, there's no way. There's
ghost.
not that.
It's
It's
Casper.
not a ghost. Ghosts
Yes.
aren't real.
Yes, they are.
No, they're not, man.
Uh-huh. Just because you don't believe in something doesn't mean it's not real.
Or just because it's never been proven or caught, you know.
Nobody's
whatever.
proven that Jesus was the dude, and we still believe sometimes.
A lot
mostly,
of people. A lot of people do.
Mostly, sometimes not really.
You know, whatever. I mean.
So how'd you like episode 4 of season 8 of The Office?
You said that all messed up.
Yeah, I don't care though.
Season
Anyway,
8,
you're gonna
episode 4.
You're gonna correct me anyway.
Not
so.
correcting you. It's making sense of the gibberish that you just spat. There's a listener going, what the fuck is... You know what the funny thing is? It sounds as if we're fucking high. That's what it sounds like.
This is what happened.
Oh, we should totally do a high episode.
Oh, I wish. I'm waiting.
Yeah, we
I'm
should
ready.
totally do one.
I took a nap. That's why I was an hour late to come over. It's 10:30 and I am wide awake.
Yeah, I had some coffee before you got here because I was falling the fuck to sleep. All right, so this is what happened. So I'm watching. So I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood last night. So I was gonna give my revamped rankings of Quentin Tarantino's movies on Twitter, and I realized that I had not finished. I never finished watching Inglourious Bastards. That I started watching it years upon years ago. And I got sleepy and I fell asleep and I never finished watching it.
Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, you know, before I give my rankings, let me go ahead and finish watching the movie. But it had been so many years, I was like, I'd better watch the whole thing.
Right.
I started falling asleep again.
So this one did not make.
So then I
was not towards the top.
So then I stopped watching the movie. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to take a nap. Because it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm like, I'm going to take a nap.
Wow. Comedians, they're just like us.
So I'm
More
gonna
on
take
that later.
It's a Wednesday, by the way. So I'm going to take a nap. And I was like, before I do, let me clear up my inbox and do some blah, 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 blah. I spent maybe half an hour, 40 minutes on the phone, and I was wide awake. And then I was like, holy shit, I think it's the actual movie. Not because it's around nap time for me. It's just because it's the actual movie.
The fact that you're a grown-ass man with a nap time.
I don't have a nap time per se, but I do have a
Bro,
time
between the hours of 2 and 4, do not expect a response from Neri.
I'm just saying there's a chance I may be asleep. There's a chance.
I could be doing other things, but probably I'm sleeping.
But, so I thought, I realized, oh my God, it's the movie. But here's the thing. It's not because the movie's bad or boring. It's because a huge percentage, and I mean a huge percentage of that movie is in other languages. Mostly German, but also some Italian and sort of, but mostly German, and there's subtitles, and you gotta fucking read. And this is, and I know everybody makes fun of me, and I get it. I don't read. I get fucking sleepy when I start reading, and that includes comics. That includes graphic novels. The difference between a comic, the reason why I could read more comics than I can, quote unquote, real books, is because there's 22 pages to a comic, and you're done.
Is it possible it's because you have ADHD?
Oh, it's fact that I have ADHD.
Right.
However,
I was trying to be nice about it.
I get sleepy. That's not the ADHD didn't make you sleepy. It's just fucking.
No, but you can't focus.
It's so hard. It's so hard for me to focus. Again, even with comic books, even with something that I already know that I'm gonna enjoy, I'm like, oh, it's so fucking. So then that's what. I was wide awake after my 40-minute intermission, and then I watched the second half of the movie, and it was really good. I liked the movie a lot.
And then I got here in the last 10 minutes.
No, you got here at the last 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, and you're like, have you ever seen this movie? And I go, no. She goes, well, you're about to watch the ending of it.
No, I said you should do something else and not pay attention because
You
I'm
didn't
watching
say any
the
of
ending.
that.
Yes, I did.
You said you're about to watch the ending, and they can't hear that. Fuck. He figured it out. Anyway, so I didn't pay attention to the movie. You watched the end. I didn't pay attention because I was on my phone. I still don't know what happened because it was 3 different languages.
Yeah.
And people yelling and died, which is standard for a Quentin Tarantino movie. So I don't know what the fuck happened. Now I'm kind of invested in that. Now I want to know.
You should go back and watch it. It's in a family share.
Okay.
So you should go back and watch it. But, yeah, so I watched Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
So what's your ranking now?
I really want to talk to somebody who's watched the movie.
Well, nobody
the ranking
in this room.
now, as per my Twitter.
Nobody in this room has watched it because you went to the movies in the middle of the day.
It was at 4:20 in the afternoon.
It's the middle of the day for the rest of the planet.
Well, no, some people get out of work at 4. So I don't know what to tell you.
Who's those people? And anybody you know?
I used to get out of work at 4. When you have an 8 a.m. shift, you get out of work at 4 at State Farm.
All right.
So, so my number 9. He's already directed 9 films, even though it's a little bit more, but 9 films. Is Death Proof.
You're going all the way. You're not doing a mountain.
I'm not doing a mountain. Why
All
would
right.
you do? There's only 8 films to choose from. If you do a mountain with 4 people,
And then you get 4 honorable mentions, and it's actually a very, very efficient mountain. But go ahead.
number 8 is The Hateful Eight.
Uh-huh.
Number 7 is Inglourious Bastards.
Mm-hmm.
Number 6 is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5 is Jackie Brown. Number 4 is Reservoir Dogs. My number 3 Quentin Tarantino movie is Pulp Fiction. Number 2 is Kill Bill, and which leads my number 1 to be Django Unchained. The Django.
So Kill Bill 2 doesn't even.
Well, Kill Bill, I counted them both as one movie.
Oh,
Because
okay.
he does that too.
Yeah.
He counts Kill
Fucking
Bill.
love Kill Bill.
Yeah.
Oh my god, so much.
Both volumes I count them as one film.
I love how you put your hands together as you're like both volumes.
Yes. Are one film. So that's why he does that. He even he considers that one film.
Okay.
But it was released separately because it would have been too long of a film. Ironically enough, his films since then have been all fucking 3 hours. So
Yeah, Django was pretty long.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was 2 hours and 40 minutes, 45
Holy
minutes.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
that's
it's
what I
like
said.
it's running on Endgame.
Hateful Eight is Endgame wasn't that long. It was long for a quote unquote superhero movie. That's the reason why.
I don't know why you're using air quotes like quote unquote for it because it is a superhero.
No,
movie.
but that's the reason why it's long. That's why they consider it a long movie. Is because it's a superhero movie. Like Braveheart is longer than 3 hours. Actually, I don't even think Braveheart's 3 hours. Gladiator, Braveheart, Godfather is longer than 3 hours.
Titanic.
We're trying to keep it to good movies. So, but there's a lot of movies that are 3 hours and nobody bats an eyelash. But when it's a superhero movie, it's like, oh, superhero. That's why I got mad at people when Warner Brothers, when they released Batman vs Superman, the theatrical version was 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 40 minutes, something like 2.5 hours. And then the Ultimate Edition, which is a far superior film, is 3 hours. I'm like, release the fucking better cut. Who gives a fuck about the extra half hour? If it's good, people will sit down. If it's good, people will sit there and watch it. Like it doesn't make a difference. You know, everybody here, all the listeners, we've all watched movies that are an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you go, "Fuck, that was long." It felt longer than it was. But when you're watching a good movie, you're just watching
like glitter.
Okay, Glitter. What movie is that? I don't even know what movie Glitter is.
It's the Mariah Carey movie from 2001.
The fact that you know the date. Oh my god.
Well, I was 18 and it was right before her breakdown and I was still a fan back then. It was what a time to be alive. She could still sing.
Back then?
Yeah.
Back then.
So whatever, I got here, we start hanging out.
No, Gladiator is 2.5 hours.
Cool. I got here, we start hanging out and I tell him I'm gonna try to get through this without giggling like an idiot. I go, okay, let's watch The Office. So my friends and I.
Braveheart is 2 hours and 58 minutes.
Okay, we moved on.
So that's 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
I said my friends and I have this game where we'll text each other and be like, just pick a number, 1 through whatever, depending on the season of the show. Where how many seasons the show we're trying to watch, and then you pick a number between 1 and 22, usually depending on how many episodes that season had. So The Office had 9. Only season 4 is the one that has like the 12 or 13 episodes. So I go to Mary, pick a number 1 through 9. He goes 8. I go, okay, now pick a number 1 through 22. He goes 4. So I go to put on episode 4 of season 8. And it said something about the Shroot Farms. And I made the mistake of thinking it was the backdoor pilot that they had tried to pitch towards the end of the series for Dwight. But I was wrong because that was episode 917. So we jumped to that one. We didn't watch 8-4. We jumped to 917. It was hilarious. Neri claims he's never seen it.
I have never seen it. I've binge watched the entire series of The Office. I'm not exaggerating, 3 times. I think maybe even 4. I'm losing count already at this point. And that episode has never come up in the run. Like, it just hasn't come up.
I find that hard to believe because it was included in the last season as it was airing. It wasn't like a thing like what they did with School.
I understand.
I mean,
School.
with School.
I get what you're
so,
saying.
But anyway, so we watched 917. Hilarious. Neri originally thought that the backdoor pilot was the episode Money from season 4, so we jumped to that one to watch it because it's really funny. I got here at what, 8:15? It's like 10:45. We still haven't watched the episode he picked.
Yeah, and then you go, oh, this other episode, and I go, oh, I don't like that episode either. The dinner party, and I was like, I don't like that episode.
Yeah,
either.
yeah. He's like, I don't want to watch it. It makes me. It's so cringeworthy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, cool, let's watch it.
And I was like, jeez.
And then you said, let's just record, and I was like, okay. So now I'm playing it on silent as I'm recording. It's really funny. I don't know why it makes you uncomfortable.
The whole thing is uncomfortable. It's
And
meant
it's
to be
amazing.
uncomfortable. It's meant to be uncomfortable. That's what they're shooting for.
Freaking Jan thinking that Pam and Michael had a thing,
No.
and then she thinks she's just trying to kill her, which isn't really crazy because Jan was crazy.
Yeah.
Like,
See,
B-A-N.
what episode was that? Was that after Money?
Yeah.
That was the episode right after Money?
Dinner party is 4-9. Money is like, I think 4-3 or 4-4, something like that.
I don't like the fact that in the episode of Money they humanize Jan. They make her nice. She's like, oh, you stood by me and blah blah. They make her nice.
Because not every bad person is bad the whole time.
But she's a caricature. Come on, this is not. You know what I mean?
Oh, because Michael is like based on real life.
Oh, Michael's the worst. I've told you this multiple times.
I agree
is the
with
worst
you.
until Holly. then that's a different story.
Well, yeah, because then he meets his lobster.
Jesus, lobster.
Hate the show, but you know the references.
I don't hate the show.
You do hate Friends.
How
Oh,
dare
you think it's overrated, right? That's the shit you said?
No, I think the last two seasons are not needed.
Oh, yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, I think Phoebe's awful, but
Oh,
the show's great.
Now you fucked it up.
The show's great. I've never spoken ill of...
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I got you confused with somebody else.
Who?
I don't want to say it because you're going to kick me out of your house.
I think Dave thinks it's
That is correct. That's who I confused you for.
overrated. Did he say overrated?
He said overrated. The whole show's overrated. But you know what? Dave doesn't think Will Ferrell's funny, so he can't be trusted.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that's a thing.
But yes, I do agree. The last two seasons were awful. I hated the Joey and Rachel thing. It's
the
completely
worst.
fucking unnecessary.
Yep.
And I don't like that Joey and Phoebe were kind of like the weakest storylines in the entire series.
Yeah. Well, not Joey. Joey had good storylines.
Yeah,
He
but
just didn't end up with somebody, but that doesn't mean that we're a weak storyline.
no, but I mean, in the beginning of the series with Joey, you meet his parents, you meet his sisters at some point. It's over here. He's trying to kill a gnat. It's right there. That's not it, but it's nearby. You know, you meet Phoebe's twin. She doesn't come back until like season, I think 8 or 9, when the Halloween episode. There are a lot of things about Phoebe and Joey that they could have explored and they didn't because, you know, Ross and Rachel were the thing.
I don't think that's the reason why they explored. They explored a lot with Joey. It just didn't go. We didn't like it. The Joey and Rachel thing was awful, but they explored that. They, you know,
So bad.
Again, I don't think it was for lack of. I think Joey had good. I think he was fine. As far as the series goes, the last 2 seasons were, you know, bad for everybody. I think mostly.
Yeah.
But
There's a couple of good episodes in the last 2 seasons, but as a whole, they were garbage.
I don't know if they were even garbage. I just think that it wasn't necessary. It had run its course. I'm a huge critic of those last 2 seasons, but I don't think it's garbage because they were fine, but they weren't at, you know what I mean? They weren't necessary. If they would have ended it if they would have ended it 2 seasons earlier, it would have been
Monica and Chandler's wedding.
Yeah, I think we're done. We're good.
Yeah.
And then after that, I was like, okay. It was still they had very funny episodes. It's just as a whole, it ran its course. We got it. We weren't.
That's true.
But there are people now that would still be like, we want more Friends. I was like,
I don't.
Why?
I do not. I do not. I get the 25-year anniversary hype that's happening. I think Fathom is going to do something
They're gonna release it in theaters,
right? A couple episodes for a couple of days or whatever. That's cool. I'm not mad at that.
Which episodes? You got to choose the
BuzzFeed
lobster
app.
episode.
BuzzFeed articles.
You got to choose the lobster.
There's some
episode.
episodes of the Friends that are just fucking iconic, not just for the series, but in TV history. I know it's hyperbolic as shit, but it's true. Like, everybody has seen and or knows about. This is the 3rd time he's Googled a word I've said.
No, keep going.
When you Google hyperbolic speech, Dave's picture is gonna pop up next to it.
Wow.
You
know, there's a good chance he's gonna hear this.
He's not gonna listen to this, and if he is, it's fine. What's up, Dave? But there's some episodes.
I agree. That is hyperbolic.
What's the other word? Oh shit! I told him I brought up the temperature of the room like an hour ago.
No, she goes, what's up with the temperature of the room? And I go,
what about it?
I said, is it too cold? And you go, no,
it's tepid. And he goes, he just looks at me and looks down at his phone.
Slowly pulled up my phone. And again, both of those examples to the listener, because they're going to think I'm a complete moron. But
you're not. You're very smart.
That's actually, that was just for the sake of the joke. It was just funny.
I was laughing
because
so hard.
5 minutes prior to that, you said, are you looking that up? I go, what are you fucking talking about? I wasn't even looking at my phone. You're like, you were looking it up. I was like, what are you? But it was something about completely. And then 5 minutes later, you said tepid. And I thought it was the funniest thing to do, to just slowly look at my phone and be like, uh-huh.
I was laughing so hard. He gets up from the chair and turns the AC down. Anyway, so yes, there are some episodes of Friends that are iconic.
Might as well call it Ross and Rachel.
For the first couple of seasons, and they were awful.
Ross and Rachel were awful?
They're a terrible couple.
Oh, no.
I love them, but they're the super immature couple. Like,
well, yeah, that's the whole fun. That's where the comedy comes, is with the immatureness.
But Monica and Chandler had their shit together, and they were hilarious.
They were also a lot. No, they weren't hilarious. They were also a lot older. They were not hilarious. That couple was not funny. They were sweet, and you
Chandler
wanted them
and
together.
Monica aren't funny.
No. Not together as a couple. No, Chandler's hilarious.
What do you
by
mean
his
in
own.
season 5 towards the end when she's freaking out because they're past the horny phase of their relationship?
How's that funny though? Where was it funny? Again, cute. I definitely think they're a cute couple, and I like them as a couple. I don't see them as
Cute
a
is
funny
such
couple.
a mean word in this.
I don't think it's a mean word at all.
Oh well, whatever.
You think Nick and Jess are cute?
Nick and Jess are meant for each other. Oh, we're gonna throw down. Let's go. You want to go, bro? Nick and
Come
Jess.
at me, bro. Come at me.
Nick, no, we need a third person because we're gonna kill each other with this argument. 'cause
Who else watches? New
I
Girl?
don't know. Start calling people.
That's what I'm saying. Who else? I'm trying to figure out who else.
No, you're totally wrong. You're absolutely wrong. Nick and Jess belong together, and you just hate love.
That's not true at all.
You do?
No.
Yeah.
I just gave you 2 examples of 2 couples of TV that I actually like.
I
Because they belong
understand.
together.
Nick and Jess belong together.
No,
You're an idiot.
no.
You're wrong.
It was proven.
But how can somebody that's right so often, you got it. He's not clapping along to me. He's trying to kill a fly.
It's a gnat, I think, or something. How the fuck they won't get in here?
What's the difference between a gnat and a fly?
2 different animals,
As he grabs his phone.
2 different insects.
He's not, but it would have been funny if you were like, well, and just grabbed her phone.
No, one's a gnat, one's a fly. What are you talking about? One's way tinier than the other one.
All right.
Smaller
But they're
than the
both equally annoying.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if gnats. If you could hear gnats do the buzzing. I know flies do the bzzz, but the gnats, I don't think you can. They're too
What were we
small.
about to fight about? Oh, Nick and Jess.
Nick and Jess.
We need a third person for that. 'cause
Tell me a
it's
third
just gonna
person to call.
It's gonna get dirty.
Who's the third?
I mean,
person to call?
I can think of people, but they're gonna agree with me. So I don't know that you want to call them.
Who's the third person? Did Stephanie?
No, she doesn't want to watch. Listen to this shit. I've played the pilot for Dave, and he's laughed because it's a funny fucking show.
Yeah.
Stephanie doesn't want to watch it because she is, quote, not convinced when it comes to
Zoe Deschanel.
Zoe Deschanel.
Not convinced of what?
That she doesn't like her. Why? Just because?
I get that she doesn't like somebody just cause there are people that I don't like just cause. I don't like Adam Driver. Actually, it's not even a just cause. I think he's ugly, and I don't like him.
I know, but he was so fucking great in Girls. I know everybody hates that show,
that
and
show's
rightfully
awful.
so.
That show's awful.
Rightfully so. But he was he was such a great character in that
So
show.
Adam Driver, I don't like just because. Who else? Now, again, none of these things. I've talked to David about this. David is one of those, like, if he doesn't like the actor or the actors in a movie, he'll ruin the movie for him. He won't. Not only will he not want to watch it, but if he does watch it, he will give it. It's gonna be.
He's going in with a grump face.
Yeah,
with a grumpy cat.
and it will ultimately affect his thoughts on the movie. I'm not like that. I don't like Adam Driver, but if somebody goes, "Hey, if he's in a movie that I find interesting," I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch the movie." I don't like him, but I don't. It won't affect the rest of the movie for me. So I don't know. That's Zoe, But how do you not like Zoe Deschanel? She's the shit.
She doesn't like her. She's not convinced. Something about her face. What's some kind of bullshit girl excuse like that?
Cute, pretty. What are we talking about here? What
Talented? I don't know.
Yeah, super.
Charming.
She can sing like a motherfucker.
But so I don't think that the Yoas are gonna get around to it because Stephanie doesn't like, her face or whatever.
Hold on.
What are you trying to call?
Ghostbusters.
You calling Steph?
I guess not.
Ooh, who declined your call?
Doesn't matter.
I want to know.
They're dead to me. It doesn't matter.
Who said to you?
My wife.
She's probably doing bedtime, you bastard.
Probably. I hope so. It's 11 o'clock at night. Jesus. But she just texted me, "Oh, I need this." Like, she texted me some cute cake thing, whatever.
She's gonna agree with me though.
Maybe.
She is.
It doesn't matter. I don't call somebody just because they're not gonna agree with me. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
I
though.
know, but we need some like an impartial, like somebody that can see both sides, so they can calm down, like, be an arbitrator and just be like, okay, I see your point, but Missy's right. Something along those lines is what we're looking for.
Not trying to say, but
I'm gonna be impartial, but Missy's right. That's what we're looking for.
Let's see.
Are you trying to call her again?
No. Kidding me? That's how they think they got you.
Not the kids or
No.
the ring. Or,
Hot
okay.
garbage.
Took me by the hand, made me your man. I think everybody's busy at 11 o'clock.
That's why I'm calling somebody who's not 11 o'clock.
Well, they're busy.
Let's see. You know, I could actually just turn off the ringer and then talk until they pick up. I just realized that now. This is the fourth time we're using this, and I just realized that now.
But who are you calling?
Somebody who's not 11 o'clock at night right now.
Oh, pick up.
So, well,
She's busy. We're calling Stephanie Meyer Sr.
Stephanie Mayer. Why do you not say Mayer? I don't understand.
It's Meyer.
It's Mayer.
It could be Meyer.
Nope, I've asked her.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
So,
My bad.
actually, I think her actual response was, it could be either, but I go with Mayer.
Oh, so you're just going with how you think?
No,
it's
she
right.
said, I could be either, but I go
Hey.
with Mayer. Hey, we're recording.
Hi.
Hi. So, we're debating a couple of things here.
Shocking.
We're debating, first of all, to the listener, this is my wife, Vanessa.
Hi, friend.
Hi, friend.
And we're debating a couple of things. First of all, Ross and Rachel, what are your thoughts?
I think they're terrible.
That's not what I'm not asking you. The listener already knows that. I'm fucking asking her.
Are you
Jesus.
fucking yelling at me, bro?
They deserve each other.
Ah, yeah.
So, what do you think of them as a couple?
I think that they're good together. They deserve each other. They work well together. They're just problematic is not the right word, but it's the only word I can think of right now. But it's not the right word.
Am I allowed to chime in here or no?
Sure.
Yes.
What I said, BFF Vanessa, was that they're an immature couple.
No, you said I don't like them as a couple. And then I
and
said, how do you not
at
like
some
them?
point said they are immature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the better word.
Thank
That's
you.
problematic.
But do you
Immature is the right
do
word.
you like them as a couple?
I do like them as a couple. I think they're great together, but they are very immature. They act like they're still in
And
high
I-
school and they're in their 30s.
I also agreed with Missy when she said that, and I said they are immature, but that's where the comedy comes in. That's what makes them funny. For a TV couple, that's what makes them funny. And she said, "What about?"
I said that Chandler and Monica
Chandler-
are funny and they had their shit together since day one.
No, she didn't say funny. She said Chandler and Monica. Look at Chandler and Monica. They're not immature. They got their
Do
shit
you need
together.
me here?
And I said,
Since you know the
"Can you
conversation.
stop talking and interrupting? You're so rude.
Yeah, I want.
Very
It's
rude.
contagious.
Very rude.
Bitch.
It is contagious, isn't it?
Yeah.
Rude." Anyway, so she thinks that Chandler and Monica. She said that they had their shit together, which I agreed to. I go, they are. First of all, they got together when they were older than Ross and Rachel,
They're more or
Right.
less the same
and
age.
not when they got together.
Okay.
So and then when they did get together, they were older. A and B, they're not funny. They're not a funny couple. And
They are a funny couple.
I think they're funny individually. Chandler is by far the funniest character of the show, but
Yes.
I don't think that them as a couple are funny.
Could he be any funnier?
Nice. Nice.
Hey, I guess I am good at math. With numbers. Sorry, good with numbers. That's what the line is. Anyways, so then that led us to say, I said, so you think everybody who's funny is, so you think everybody who's, don't have their shit together, who's a mess, they immature, they're not good for each other, they're not a good couple. And then I brought up Jess and, what's his name? Nick and Jess. Because they don't have their shit
I don't know.
together.
Am I allowed to talk yet? Let me know. Give me a cue.
Oh, God.
Nick and Jess.
So Nick and Jess.
Oh, there was no sound effect? I was waiting for a sound
He
effect.
No,
looked at it, but there isn't
I don't
one.
have a sound effect that says "get the fuck out of my house." So I was like, you know what? It's better not to just move on because I don't have the
Just
correct.
isolate what you just said
Yeah.
right now. Make it a sound effect.
All right. Well, this has been a fun friendship. Nick and Jess.
So Nick and Jess don't have their shit together. They're a fucking hot mess.
Yeah.
So by
Oh, wait. New girl. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
So
I was thinking Nick Lachey. That's
they also don't have their
They
shit
don't.
together.
They do not have their shit together.
At
No,
all.
yes, they do.
No,
Not while they were together.
no, they don't have their shit together as a couple now because that's probably why they're not a couple now. But that's a thing. So by correlation, like the correlation is there. So if a couple doesn't have their shit together, if they're immature, then they shouldn't. Then that's the reason she gave for Ross and Rachel not being a good couple.
I described them being awful because they are an immature couple.
Right. And Nick and
Right.
Jess are even more immature.
Right.
And so
But they're not awful.
see, they not understand that logic then.
The logic behind that is that
If A plus B equals C, then B plus A must also equal C. And
Correct.
you're saying the opposite. You're saying
right.
that no.
Yeah. Well, since
B
I got
minus
an
B equals A.
yeah, since I failed algebra several times in my lifetime, I think that was a good way to kind of paint a picture for me. So thank you for that.
Okay.
However, I would say that I don't know. I just think that.
It's called comparative properties, but go ahead.
Oh my God, David, when did
I
you
hate
get
you
here?
so much right now.
Jesus. I think that it works for them. I think it's a different kind of immaturity. I think that Rachel and Ross are like immature in a very petty kind of, like, but I want it. No, I
Jealous
want
way.
it. And Nick and Jess are an immature couple in terms of them being in different places, that places thing in their lives where Jess has her shit together and Nick definitely does not.
Right.
And that is the conflict
So
there.
you're saying it's it's when you're immature in small ways that's bad, but when you're immature in life, in the big grand scheme of life, that's good. That's okay for a couple.
Listen, I have yet to say that they should have stayed together the entire series since they got together.
But they shouldn't have got together. Period.
That's your opinion, and your opinion.
Actually,
is
I
wrong.
disagree.
wrong.
I disagree
It's
with
wrong.
that. I think they should have got together when it first did, and then when they broke up for the best reasons. I'm like, that's great.
Correct.
You guys tried it. It didn't work.
Okay,
Let's
but
move
then
on.
but obviously there was still a connection there, and they individually had to like go off and do their own thing. Nick matured a lot because of that relationship. No other girl that he had been with, granted, we had been in his life for like 2 years or whatever, but based on the flashbacks and everything, no other girl that he had dated up to that point and even dated afterwards really motivated him to kind of get his shit together the way that Jess did. It was because of that relationship that he ends up investing in the bar. And he starts writing the novel, and he starts writing the novel before he gets together with
starts
Jess.
writing the novel way before.
Yeah,
they, like,
that same season that they get together, but before they
No,
were
I think it
official.
was before.
No,
I
no,
think
it was
when the
season
show
2.
started.
No, it was season 2. It was his zombie novel started in the episode. I'll tell you right now, but it's the one where Nick is teaching
you gotta look it up.
Jess is looking up the Jess is teaching the adult night class. Hold on, I'll tell you right now.
Damn.
Look at that. I watched it the other day. What a shocker.
You still watch that show?
It was the
You have, like,
episode
14
Pepperwood.
You have, like-
Pepperwood.
you have like 14 shows that you haven't watched, and
What, you expect me to go to sleep to silence? What kind of fucking like cave woman am I?
or how about you just watch a show that you haven't watched, and then when you fall asleep, you fall asleep.
That's
and, like,
stupid because then the Netflix keeps running and then you have to go
And you
back.
missed stuff.
Oh no, you have to go back and click
yeah,
a button.
yeah. That's
You
stupid.
don't know where you fell asleep.
Thank
I agree
you.
with him.
Wow.
How do you not know where you fell asleep?
Vanessa, can you come home
Because
now?
You don't realize when you fall asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. How does it? Oh, nobody knows the exact time they're going to fall asleep. That's stupid. Sometimes your internal clock makes you sleep a little bit longer. That's why I was late today.
Sometimes your internal clock doesn't wake you up when you're supposed to get up and go to yoga with your friends.
Shout out to Stephanie. But anyway, yes, I am of the firm belief that they ultimately do belong together, and I'm glad that they do. So,
Well, the last
Me
season
too.
proved that you were wrong. So
how did that?
the last season was garbage.
We're not talking
garbage.
about season. We're talking about their
But I'm telling you-
relationship.
But I'm telling you, the last season, if they were meant to be together, then the last season would have been not hot garbage.
Because they rushed through that season. They got like 10, 12 episodes or something like that. Nothing, not enough to really paint a decent picture of their reconciliation and subsequent, spoiler alert, marriage.
Why did Winston have 5 kids?
The last season had 8 episodes, and the last like 2 or 3 episodes aired the same day.
Yeah.
So they rushed through that. Now,
but just because you aired the same day doesn't mean it was, they did take that time.
I
to
know,
record it.
but what I'm saying is that they could have, like, I would have loved that season. I would have loved. I think it's the same issue I have with. I'm not obviously nowhere near as bitter about it as I was for the last season of How I Met Your Mother, but the last season of New Girl, I think they could have spent more time. I would have loved to see Schmitty more as a dad. That little girl was fantastically cast.
Oh my God, she was great.
She's amazing. And I would have loved to see Winston as a dad, like not just, things attacking my face. And of course,
Title of your sex tape.
I would have, fingers crossed. And I would have loved to have seen more of Justin and Nick's reconciliation, because the season 6 ended with them getting back together. They were not sure they were going to come back for 7th season.
I don't need to know I don't need to see their reconciliation.
Mm-hmm.
Just skip
Because
ahead just skip ahead to the point that they're reconciled. Yeah, we're good.
Well, that's what the show did.
Yeah, but then they came back from a long trip, and
I know,
then
but there was so much.
They were still. Will he propose? Won't he propose? Like, oh, fuck off! Just fucking. If you want to come back and be like, oh my God, I can't believe you proposed in France. Great, done.
Okay,
let's move the fuck on.
You're just describing the Rachel and Ross's relationship after she gets pregnant. Just get together already. You're going to.
No, but that was fine. They didn't have only 8 episodes to fucking do it.
Correct.
You know? So they could have just done that. Skip ahead and fucking we got it.
Right. I think we're saying the same thing,
don't
but
think
we
we
still
are.
want to argue, so that's where we are.
Anyways, she's on her period and I'm on a cleanse. And
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a terrible time.
Yeah, she's on her period and I'm on a
That
cleanse.
was
So
awful.
she's said the episode we recorded yesterday, which is obviously last week's episode that came out last week. She said, there's somebody stabbing my uterus.
I said there's a tiny alien stabbing my uterus. Yeah.
Right. So I think the fact that I said she has her period today is
You're not allowed to say that to your
shockworthy.
boy.
Come home soon, BFF.
Please, God, come home soon. Please, for the love of God.
Whatever, bro. You were the one that told me to come over.
I didn't. I didn't.
You told me to come over
When?
today.
I told you to come over yesterday, and
You
didn't.
told me to
I
co-
did. I told you to come over the day before, and you didn't.
What in the fuck are you talking about? It's Wednesday. I was here Monday for a WuBro. Yesterday you recorded a Geekmore, which I was not on the panel
And
for.
I asked you to be on the panel, and what did you say?
I said I don't want to because I'm tired and it's hard to be a woman. And today we were talking on the phone and you said, come over later. I'm going to get
when did
bored.
we talk on the phone?
On my lunch break?
Oh, we did talk for like 2 minutes, but that wasn't. I didn't say anything about
You
come
100%. What do you think? I just show up because you told me to?
No, you said I'll be there around. I'll be there after 7. I go okay.
You told me around lunchtime to come. Fine. Now I just found out that I'm not supposed to be here anyway. So bye, guys. Thanks for listening. Jesus. Is that my exit applause?
I missed my two other
No, that's the
children fighting.
Thank God she's gone.
No, that's the Academy Award winner for Best Dramatic Exit. This is Missy's 14th win and 37th nomination in this topic, in this category. She was
Yeah.
also nominated for "Fuck You, I Don't Need This," and the "Fuck You, I Come Whenever I Want, not just when you tell me to." Jeff episode.
No.
That was a good one too.
Well, today I had more flexibility because I would have set an alarm if I knew Jeff was going to be waiting for me because I know he doesn't like to wait. But you don't care. You're more, you're like,
I'm literally by myself. Oh, what? That was a Monday or Sunday that you were gonna come over on Sunday.
No, you thought I was coming over.
You literally said, "I'm gonna,
Oh my
I gotta
God.
do laundry and
Guys,
then
No
afterwards."
one cares. No
Yeah.
one cares.
Oh, yeah.
Promise.
You
Oh
know,
my God! Oh, are we going through a tunnel?
Wait. Don't hang up on. You hung up on your wife, you psychopath. Why would you do that? Eso no se hace.
Because she can't do anything. She's in fucking North Carolina.
She
can't
comes home.
She's gonna forget about this by then.
No, she
It's
won't.
fine.
Oh, yeah, because women don't hold grudges. We don't do that shit ever.
No, women are very logical and understanding.
I didn't say anything about logic, bitch. I said about grudges.
Yeah, grudges are logical
Yeah.
to hold on to shit.
Of course
after
it
it's already
is.
happened
If
and
you're not
passed.
over it, then yeah, you got to carry that shit around. That's
Right,
a healthy
right.
way to do things.
Of course. That's what was I thinking about? What was I saying about women being logical? Scratch that. Just
Scratch this, you motherfucker.
She texted me, goes, ass.
Yeah, that's accurate.
And I'm sending it back that says, please send sexy pictures.
Oh boy. Okay. Well, now I got weird again.
Well, she's not going to do it anyway. She never does it. So therefore, it's hilarious to ask her when I hang up after I hang up on her.
You don't think she rolls her eyes like again with the joke?
I thought you were saying that she sends sexy pictures to you. I'm like, what?
No.
I go, she never does it anyways. And you go, to you. I'm like, you think she sends it to somebody
No,
else?
I was saying to you like I was saying to you because you said it was funny, and I'm like, yeah, to you. No, she doesn't. I mean, that would be weird.
Would it?
Yes.
I mean, if you forward it to me, would that be weird too?
I don't feel like being your trafficker of nudes between your wife. I feel like you guys can handle that shit on your own. Thank you very much.
I can handle 0 pictures, sure.
You know what I will do?
Let me see if my phone can handle the capacity.
I'm gonna send you gifts of Casper and be like, hey, Vanessa, send another another nude. Good times.
See that? So there was an app that came out that you got upset about.
Oh,
let's talk about it.
I don't know that we should.
let's
I
talk
feel like
about
you're gonna
apps, baby.
No.
Let's talk about. I just found this out. The only information I have about this is literally the 2 sentences that you told me about, half an hour ago, or 40 minutes ago, and I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I know enough to form an opinion.
Well, because I know you.
Oh boy.
I know you're gonna be 100% like.
Hey, can I ask you a
total
question?
Disagreement with me.
Just honest question. Can I ask you a question?
Yes, I hate you sometimes.
If a man were to say the exact same words you just said to me,
Uh-huh.
because I know you, I know how you're gonna react.
Yeah.
And I know the answer already before I even bring this topic up.
Yeah.
Would that be okay with you?
That would bother me. Yeah.
Okay. Just making sure. I just want to make sure this is a whole double standard bullshit. All right, go ahead. You were saying?
No, it's not bullshit. It's just that you. I think your knee-jerk reaction is typically to take the exact opposite opinion of whatever somebody's telling you.
Or to look at both sides of an argument.
Okay.
Are
we arguing about if we're gonna argue because that's a new low for us?
I don't appreciate the
assumption,
the double standard of the statement that you just made. You saying that to a man is totally fine. Any woman saying that to any man is totally fine because a man's reaction is not going to be the same reaction. If a man said that to a woman, any man said that to any woman, you're like, who the fuck do you think you are?
Well, first of all, I don't look at you as a man. I look at you as my friend Neri.
Right.
So my friend Neri.
But I'm also a male, and you make sure to point that out whenever I say something that's not. Whenever I give an opinion, you said my wife just said it to me. You can't say that because you're a boy. She just said that.
That
and
was
you
said
agreed.
in humor.
No, but it was true.
And you also, conversely, you also always point out that I'm a woman, and then you start your sentence. So I think it's equal parts.
When have I ever go? You're a woman. Let me continue my topic.
No, you're not understanding what I'm saying.
Well,
but
because
anyway,
I'm a man, so please explain it to me.
Well, you can just Google it. You've been doing good at that. Anyway, so the thing with the this is gonna be a problem. The thing with this app is that Weight Watchers bought out a company that started. I forget the name of it. I think it's. I don't know. I have to look it up. But Weight Watchers bought out an app last year that was created for children to track their food. In the same kind of concept that Weight Watchers does with the points, but instead of points, they have red light, green light, yellow light, and kind of trying to teach kids good foods, bad foods, and nutrition.
Good habits.
Correct.
Right.
It's free, but of course available with upgrades that you can pay for because capitalism. And
America.
Yeah, I'm very, very, very. First of all, and all seriousness, all joking aside, this whole topic is very, very triggering to me. So I don't think that my opinion, I'm not operating from a place where I think that I'm right, that I'm 100% right, and there isn't another side to the argument. Even though
you don't like this app.
I hate it. I think
the idea of the app.
I think it's absolutely horrific because they start marketing it from the age 8 up to 17, and of course, when you're 18, you can do Weight Watchers legally. So they're trying to cap that market.
Right. And
I think it's absolutely horrendous and horrific, and just the absolute worst idea. And I think it's just terrible. If you need the argument has been made just because I brought this to the girls, to Q and Steph and Christy and Vanessa. And, you know, they talked about it, and I kind of stepped away from the conversation because it was taking me to a place where, like, I'm not going to hear the argument. You know what I mean?
You were
like
blind with rage?
Yeah, pretty much.
I get it. I understand.
So I kind of just stepped away a little bit, but from what I understand, and I think they're going to talk about it next time they record, but
well, we don't have 3 years, so let's focus
now. What the general consensus was that, you know, it's a good idea because, you know, it's going to teach kids about nutrition. It's going to teach kids about, you know, how to portion control and all of that. And I just think that that's a parent's job. That shouldn't be delegated to an app. And it can cause a lot of problems when it comes to eating disorders and disordered eating and body image issues. And I'm 100% against it. But also I'm operating from a very traumatized, like, perspective. Right. So I'm aware that I could be wrong. I'm 100% against it.
Well,
so
I will say that from what I've only heard from you, because I haven't done any research on it, from what I've heard from you, I do agree with you. I do agree with what you said, that I'm going to disagree with you on this topic. So that's where, see what I did there? I said I was going to agree with you, but then I agreed with you about disagreeing with you.
Correct.
But I don't think there's anything, again, and this is, and I'm coming from a place of, like, I was a fat kid, or was, meaning today, 2 seconds ago. I've been fat my entire life. So I've struggled with weight loss or I've struggled with weight problems my entire life. I've had, we've all had those stories. We have the horror stories. I have horror stories of, my mom trying to fat shame me into losing weight, and because she didn't know how to do any better. I'm not, and this is not me blaming my mom or being upset. It is not a woe is me situation or conversation. I just look back now and I think that was, my mom didn't know how to do it any differently. She didn't know how to reach me to lose weight or make healthier decisions in my childhood, other than try to fat shame me. It worked with my sister. She did the same thing with my sister. My sister was fat, was big, and she would fat shame her, and it worked because, in the sense of, again, psychologically, I'm not saying this is healthy, and I'm not promoting this to the listener. I'm not saying ever do this to another human being. I'm saying it worked in the sense of motivation for her to lose weight. So because my sister's 5 years older than me, I think that by the time it got to me and I was having that problem, I think that my mom's logic, and again, this is unfounded conversation because I've never actually sat down and had a conversation with my mom, but I would think that logically it stands to reason that, hey, it worked when I did this to my other child 5 years ago. I'm going to do the same thing. And it did. I didn't give a fuck. Like, she couldn't fat shame me enough because I was like, I get it, I'm fat. Food is amazing. Like, food is delicious. Yes. By the way, the food that you make. Like, I'm not even, it wasn't even like I was a big McDonald's kid or pizza party kid. I wasn't that guy. I was just like, food is just fucking awesome.
I just think that.
But I think with this app, from what you're describing, look, I've done Weight Watchers before, and it's worked for me in the past. I get unmotivated soon after, so it worked for me for like a month, and then I lose, whatever. But it does teach you, me as an adult, how to make better decisions. So when you can have, just give an example, you can have a hamburger for, 14 points, or you could have a chicken sandwich for 8. In your mind, you go, I'm gonna go with the chicken sandwich because I have more points left over for other food. So I've been an advocate for Weight Watchers in that sense of, like, it teaches you to, it encourages you to go for the healthier option. So if you could do that to kids, but without scarring them, I guess.
I don't think that there is a way for that to happen. And I'll say this much: I think that I'm not gonna get into it because it's really, really personal and fucked up. But my experience with it is not just it wasn't I had a reaction to the shaming. I had a reaction to earn your meals. I had, and they're not good. I cried about it today, actually. It's very, 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 very sensitive and triggering subject for me. My argument is, so I'm going to stay away from that just because it's too much, too real. But what I'm going to say is that looking at it from a business perspective, I think that the entire weight loss and diet culture, it is a business. It's a multi-billionaire business. It has more funding. There's more funding in that than there is in the FDA, the government agency responsible to make sure that the country has safe food. Has a 1%, like, kind of, I read somewhere once, there's like something ridiculous, like a fraction of the revenue that the diet culture business has, right? So it behooves them to kind of bank on us failing these things. So you're and again, I mean, it's a free for all, so I don't want to come off like too douchey, but you're exploiting the carrot, over the head, that like this is the solution. I don't think obesity has anything to do with food. It's self-medicating. It's an unhealthy coping mechanism. It's not as intense as an addiction to alcohol or nicotine or other drugs, but it is a way to cope with shit in a very, very, like, you're numbing, you're self-medicating. So I think
if I may, for that one thing that you said, I don't disagree with that as far as it's not nutrition, it's self-medication. I do think that there are a certain percentage of people that's what it is, but it's not. I think you're operating from a personal point of view.
100%.
So I think that while I, somebody who didn't do it for that reason, can acknowledge that, I could also say that my reason was strictly taste worthy. Like, I wasn't self-medicating. I've looked back at my childhood, and I've always been a big kid. I've always been fat. And I've never been that sad kid. I've never been that guy who's self-medicating, who had something. Again, not that I didn't have my chances to do
100%.
it. I think mine was solely based on this is delicious.
Yeah.
And then by the time I realized that by the time I cared that it was unhealthy, it was like, I already love food a lot. Now it's a problem. Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like, it's one of those things where, it wasn't one of those things for me that while I was self-medicating, it was one of those things where I was like, people would be like, oh, that's not healthy for you, or that's fattening. That's the word that you use. Nobody in the 80s and 90s said unhealthy. They just said that's fattening. Yeah, I was like, I don't give a fuck. This shit tastes amazing.
Correct.
And then by the time I cared about the nutritional aspect of it, was literally in my 30s. Yeah. I was 30 years old. In my 20s, even though I went through a phase in my 20s where I did lose some weight, it wasn't nutritional. It was, I want to look better.
Right.
It wasn't nutrition. It was not into my 30s where I was like, no. And that honestly was from my child, from having a kid.
Right.
When you go, I want to be here for my fucking kid.
Right.
Now there's a reason to be here.
Yeah. There's a motivation bigger than vanity. Right. And I am on board with that 100%. I don't necessarily, there's a spectrum to this, right? There's a spectrum to this conversation. I'm operating for, and I'm going to advocate for the kids and grown-ups that end up being like battered children trying to recover from these kinds of situations. That's where my reaction is going to, is I'm thinking of the next generation of kids who are going to suffer like heartbreaking, like gut-wrenching pain at the hands of this kind of earn your meal. Because if you need to earn your meal,
but is this what this app is? Earn your meal?
It's not an earn your meal, but it's,
because Weight Watchers isn't really earn your meal.
It's not. But what I'm saying is like on a bigger scale.
Right, you're talking about in general.
Like if you're teaching your kid, earn your meal. If you gotta earn, like, everybody's gonna eat. Everybody has to eat to stay alive.
That's why that's a awful.
So
that's why
if you gotta earn your meal, then that sets a precedent for every other area of your life to be founded on a very fucked up, like, foundation, right?
In all fairness, and I've said this to you before, in all fairness, just because when you hear somebody go through a horror story and you
Yeah.
go, fuck, I've said something like that to her before and I didn't know she was going through this, right? So in all fairness, I've used the phrase, I haven't earned my cheat meal.
Right.
Like when I'm on a cruise ship, I like
Right.
to, like some cruise ships give you most of them give you at least one, or they have to give you one night off, but some of them give you the one night off the very first night that you're there.
Right.
And I'm not a fan of that because I like to go to one of the expensive restaurants, one of the fancy restaurants,
Right.
and later on in the week. So the ones that have the night off on Thursday or Friday, in my mind, I get on board on Sunday. I work out, I eat healthy the whole week, and then Thursday and or Friday, I have that.
That's your treat,
my
right?
treat. So I've said to you the phrase. I haven't. When you said, "Oh, why don't you go to the steakhouse today on Sunday, your night
Yeah.
off?" I go, "I haven't earned it yet."
Yeah.
And that to me is just my cheat meal. It's not that I haven't earned food.
Yeah.
I haven't earned food.
Yeah.
Like the logic of you have to earn every meal is like, wait, I'm fucking human.
And
I'm a
I
living being. Not even human. All living beings need
You
to
have
eat.
to eat.
yeah.
You have to eat. So I think, again, I know I'm gonna sound super douchey, but I can hover over my issues. I can become a little detached about on my issues, where I can see there's a difference. I'm not saying that everyone's experience is mine.
Right.
I don't think that earning for you like has a different connotation that it's gonna have for me. So
And it's self-imposed. It's not somebody
Right.
else. It's different when you have an authority figure.
yeah, like
It's
that.
a parental
is-
unit telling you that's very
that
damaging.
is
Yeah.
really fucked up. Like, I'll give you just one like nothing example. When I was 18, I was visiting family. We were going through like family pictures or whatever.
Was this in a different country?
This was in a different
The
country.
fucking worst.
The worst.
I have so many of these stories that
But-
I already know where this is going. Like,
No.
not because I know the story, just because I as a
You can
person,
project
as
where
a
we're going.
Yeah, absolutely. As a
We're
fat
gonna
person,
end up in a dark fucking
oh my
place.
god! As a fat person who goes to a third world country and fucking hears other people fucking a family out of all people.
And
Oh.
Chileans are built very like petite. They're a petite body type, and my father's Cuban, so I'm not. Even if I lost 100 pounds, I would have hips and I would have curves.
Right.
I'm never gonna look like a Chilean woman.
Yeah, you would.
Stop. Ew. And so,
Oh man, that's funny.
when I was 18, I was by myself, like I was visiting for extended period of time, and we're going through family pictures, and I find this school picture of mine from first grade, so six years old max. I flip it over. It's like one of the little ones, like the wallet sizes. I flip it over, and my mom had written, "This is Missy's school picture. As you can see, she gained all the weight she lost from the vacation."
Jesus Christ.
And I, like, even now, I'm trying to keep my shit together because I cry for the 6-year-old that was like under this fucking pressure to lose weight.
Yeah.
And then the of all the things you can say, because I was a great student, because I was, I was.
I didn't even have that.
Do you know what I mean?
I didn't even have that.
But you
My mom was
can-
like, he's fat, but how is he in school? Oof. I didn't even have that. I didn't even have that going for me. I was like, he could play
So-
the fuck out of video games
Yeah.
for hours on end.
So out of all the things that you could have said, that's where you clung on. And by 18, I have a bunch of other scenarios that will
of course, yeah, no.
blow your fucking mind. So I can detach myself from my issues and be like, yeah, you know what? There should be a conversation. I am a strong believer that you should raise your kid however the fuck you want to raise them. It's none of my business. Like, do what you think. I can only have an opinion to this point as a daughter, not a parent. Just that's as far as I can go with that. But
Well, I mean, you everybody has opinions.
yeah,
It's
but
just
I don't
whether
feel
or not-
like
But whether or not you impose those opinions on that
Parent,
parent,
no, never.
That's different. But you can have opinion. Everybody can have opinions.
Yeah.
I don't like when people go, "Oh, how I raise my child is nobody's business." Sure, but doesn't mean they're not gonna have opinions about it. Like that, the fuck out of here. That doesn't.
But I can definitely detach myself from those issues and like kind of let go and just everyone can do it. So there wasn't an argument to be made about like, well, maybe it'll teach kids nutrition, maybe it'll do this. I believe that your children learn from watching you,
Right.
not what you tell them.
Right.
So even if you're even if they knew this app backwards and forward, and you're like, good job, you should eat healthy, and you're having a fucking Big Mac next to them, that's what they're gonna remember.
Right.
There's gonna be way more trauma attached. There's conflicting messaging there.
Well, there's a possibility of conflicting messaging there.
Yes.
There's a because if there's also the possibility of you have your app, I have my app, and we're both mommy and papi are both doing,
yes.
Yeah. So you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
There's definitely a
And then that is also a possibility too. I don't think I'm not.
It's not white or black.
Yeah, there's a spectrum to it. There's 100% chance that this could be a good thing for your kid, but I know my experience, and that's where I operate from. So I think it's just it's heartbreaking. I think it's terrible. I don't want anyone to use it. Fuck Weight Watchers. I'll never do it again, because I just think it's a terrible thing to impose. 8 years old, you're in 3rd grade. That's too fucking young.
So you're saying don't use Weight Watchers because they have a kid app?
Don't use Weight.
As an adult, don't use the Weight Watcher app?
Okay. I just think that
by the way, that was, if you heard that was the sound of our Weight Watchers sponsorship going
check
out the
bouncing
window. Going out the window. Like,
I don't think one was on the way though, BFF. I just think honesty, and I've told you this several times when you're like, I haven't earned this, or I haven't been good or bad.
It's just my achievement,
and
right?
what I tell you is you're like really mean to yourself when it comes to this.
But I personally, and you're right, I am, but personally I'm an extremist. Like I find,
Right.
and I've you get to a certain point in your life where some people it comes earlier than others, where you start recognizing behaviors within yourself.
Yeah.
And I know, I in a span of 1, 2, 3 days, a week, whatever, it doesn't even take that long, but I could go really fucking crazy on eating out fattening foods. Like,
right.
You've experienced that with me, where I'll be on a cruise ship for 3 weeks, and I'll lose weight and go to the gym every day and work out every day. And here we are. It's Wednesday. I got back on Sunday. I worked out once so far this week.
Right.
Once, and again, because I'm not on a cruise ship, so I don't have the access isn't as easy, but it's still there. I still had it today. I could have gone today.
Yeah.
But again, I'm controlling myself this week. I'm controlling myself nutrition wise.
Yeah.
I'm being very strict.
You
with
have
myself.
a different goal for this week, then it's not centered around the gym.
But here's my thing. My whole point of saying that is I'm really an extremist. I've learned about myself that I could go. You're
on one end or the other.
Yeah.
To
our mutual friend Karen's words, I should be more about balance. That's her whole thing.
Right.
She's balance, and I'm like, it's very difficult for me.
Right.
It's very difficult for me.
So for me, I think that, yes, I do. And I will find myself going like, you're being mean to yourself. Yeah. But where I'm coming from with that is,
and you're right, though. You are right. I am mean to myself.
I just think that it's just, there's so many different things that you can be good or bad. I think there's a long list of things that are worse than being overweight. Now stop. I want to stop myself there because myself
to the listener.
No,
it made it seem like I was going to cut you off, and I was like, "What? I'm completely fucking silent."
No. I want to stop myself because I've done enough exploring. Internet is a fucking black hole of things, and there's an account for literally everything you could want.
We all have cancer,
and you can find people that are of the extreme of it rhymes with biology, but it has to do with shakes. and they're like,
Scientology?
And it fucking, yeah, so many ologies. But they're shoving this shit down your throat. And then you can find other areas, influencers, like real legit influencers that are like, love your body, eat whatever you want. There's a danger to that too, because biologically speaking, your body will have a reaction to that. There's a family history attached to your biology that can be manipulated depending on your choices. So I'm definitely not gonna advocate for you to fucking don't even worry about. Me personally, I just know too much about health issues and being a caretaker and stuff like that. Like, your body will react to things to the way that you treat it. So on the one end, if you're doing portion controls to such an extent that your side fits in a fucking container, a nothing container, I think there's a damage to that. And on the other end, living your best life and eating whatever the fuck you want, and who cares if you're 400 pounds, that's a problem too. Yeah. So we're and both ends, in my humble, non-professional opinion, both ends of that spectrum is a version of self-harm. You're being mean to yourself. And so from there, I get even more hippie-ish, and I'm like, no wonder we're fucking terrible to each other. We're fucking horrible to ourselves. Like, so I don't know. Again, I told this shit triggered like it was like those Russian like dolls that like you open. It's one thing, but inside, for me personally, there's like 10 other things within that. So I hate it. I'm hoping that everyone will kind of like do their research and just make the right decisions for themselves, motivated always by health, not by vanity. Because if vanity was the thing that was going to motivate me, I would have lost 100 pounds a long time ago. I don't give a fuck that I'm going to... And again, it's bullshit because I have lost like 30 pounds in the past 2 years, and I do feel better than I did when I was 30 pounds heavier. So there is truth to that you will feel better as you lose more weight. But that's not my primary motivation. Like I'm much more motivated to go to the gym because I know it's going to curve my tendency for anxiety and my issues with depression. Like that shit's way more motivating than whether or not I'm going to look.
Who told you about that? Who told you about
Q?
Oh, okay.
That's not true. You know, you guys, Neri and I bicker a lot, and we sound like we hate each other, but I don't know. It's kind of a great friendship.
I've never thought that I hated you.
I think sometimes that I might.
No. There are times where I know I hate you, but I don't think about it. I don't go, oh man, I think I hate her. I'm like, no, she's not.
But if you're a listener and you just all you have are these podcast episodes, they're like, man, why are they fucking in the same room?
We fight less when there's more people. Too.
Yeah, because they tell us to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, because then we tag team against them. We're like,
oh yeah. That is terrible.
Like, whoa! Don't be talking to her like that.
That's my brother, you asshole. Oh my god, I think the other day we were at CVS and I didn't have my wallet, and you'd bought me chocolate. And the lady's ringing me up and I'm like, isn't he a great brother? And she's like, yeah, that's really nice. I'm like, he's such a great brother. And Neri's like, let's fucking go.
I wasn't mad. I was like, all right. I was looking for Bang. I was like, fucking, they don't have Bang here.
Oh my god. You and the Bang, you're the fucking Dave Chappelle gif with the white lips scratching. Like, enough with that shit. Yeah. It's terrible for you. Your heart's gonna explode.
I don't think it's terrible for you.
I feel like
I think you've done zero research on this, and it just because it made you jittery. You're like,
when you had it at SuperCon.
That's an unfair. That first of all, that was my first one ever, and secondly, that was right after performing. So I was already high as fuck and jittery because of the adrenaline.
I'm not talking about that day. I'm talking about the other day.
You said SuperCon. I didn't have any more at SuperCon.
Didn't you had some the next day too?
The next day when Vanessa was taking pictures with the Little Mermaid, I wasn't jittery.
No.
That was when I had it.
Well, why were you jittery on Monday? Did you have a bang?
On what Monday?
The Monday that was 2 days ago.
I'm thinking to myself
because we were in the car and you're like, I feel like I'm talking fast. Am I talking fast? I feel like
I was doing that to be funny. I was, just literally.
What? But you don't like comedy?
No, I literally did take a bang that day, but I was doing it. I took a bang because I was gonna fall asleep, and then you were gonna come over, and I was like, oh fuck, man, and we had a long night. I knew we had to record a podcast, and I was like,
we did start recording around this time, and I have much more energy today than I did Monday.
Yeah, because you took a nap. Naps are fucking awesome. I like the fact that you literally make fun of me for taking naps, but naps are amazing.
No, honestly, it's like not. It's like a 10% making fun of you and like 90% jealous because I feel like I would love to live in Spain and have the option of a fucking nap every day.
So. Look, naps are amazing, but nothing is worth fucking listening to this accent. So, vamos a dormir. Sí. ¿Y por qué? Sí. Vamos a dormir. Ugh, fuck you. You know what? I don't fucking want a nap now. You fucking.
I spent a semester in Spain.
And
I got in a bar fight.
Cuando yo estaba estudiando, yo sabía que yo tenía que dormir porque estaba muy cansado. Ugh, fuck you. I can't imagine. That's just one. I just gave you 2 sentences, and I'm like, I can't fucking stand this. You know what? You ruined my fucking nap. You ruined it. You fucking ruined it.
You know what? I'll fail this semester. Yeah. Take me back home.
Fuck this.
I prefer racism and terrorism over this shit.
Oh my god. You know what? There's a reason. There's a reason. I can't fucking stand that accent.
But do accents generally bother you?
No, I love accents for the most part.
Except for Spanish ones, apparently.
No, just the Castellano Spanish ones, because there are people from Spain that don't have that. That don't.
No,
do
they
that.
don't.
Yeah, there are.
No, I'm saying like I'm agreeing with you. No, that not everybody has.
Yeah, so that's
lips,
but it's just
the
that,
lisp.
like, you know what I mean. But
and Spain has a lot of immigrants, so
yeah.
it's not. My cousin and his partner live there, and I'm hoping that I can go visit them soon.
I'm hoping that I get booked next year to do cruises in Spain, in Europe, because I would.
So do you know how you are like, oh, you should sail with me? I'll go with you to Europe.
No, that's fine.
Come on.
No, wouldn't it be fucked up? I go there and everybody's napping. I'm like, oh, fucking wake up.
Just rocking through the streets with Pitbull on your phone.
Yeah. But I love accents. I wish I could do them. For not only for my act, but for just in conversation. Like, I love when I'm talking to somebody. David is really good at accents.
Oh man, he's so good at that shit.
And when he's, I'm like, fuck, that's really good. Like,
Dave has a character named Rogelio. This is real. This is 100% real. Rogelio is like an Italian, like, shoemaker, and you call him up and you talk to him, and you're like, hey, let me talk to Rogelio. And he'll go with it. Like, he has an amazing capability for that kind of imp.
My wife just texted me. Because remember, after I hung up with her, I go, pics, please. And that was half an hour ago.
Yeah.
And so she apparently just read it now. And she goes, you just hung up on me. And I go, love you.
Love you, mean it. Oh, my God. Let's talk about that for a second.
Okay.
So today.
So no, Rogelio, I want to know.
Oh, no, okay. So we'll go to the other thing now and next. But Rogelio, and he'll give you. I've had full-fledged conversations with Rogelio.
Yeah.
And he does accents. He'll give you a backstory. He'll tell you what he had for lunch today.
I could tell you.
Fantastic.
I've done that with characters, but I do everything except the accent. Like, I could tell you. I could do. You know who I do that with? I do that with an effeminate man. I could do that's the only, and it's no longer PC. But I could do that.
Yeah,
with,
did you see me shaking my head like?
No, but I've done that before. Where I'm like, and I go have whole conversations. It's Antoine. His name was Antoine, and I've had full conversations with people and be like, "What did you have to eat?" And I go on and on and on and on. It's great. But that's the only thing I could do is an effeminate man or a woman. Depends on how you see it, really. But it's just because it's coming from my body. It's obviously an effeminate.
He can also obviously do a very like a abuelo, a Cuban abuelo, but that's because that's who he is, like, truly on his inside. But
and outside. So what were you saying before?
Oh, about when you said she just read it, I wanted to bring up the thing I saw on Twitter about the guy who went on the first date.
Yes.
Okay, so I showed this scenario, and he was not shook like I was expecting him to be shook. But this guy,
you gotta read it.
I am. I'm going to. This thing on Twitter was trending because this guy went on a first date, right? And this was his tweet. It was, goes on first date, scared he'll ghost, but instead gets this text. So he goes on a first date. The person he went on a first date with tells him, I'm on my way to the gym now. Can you do me a favor? To which he responds, yeah, what do you need? And he or she responds, I'm not sure if he went on a date with a girl or boy. So he or she responds, click on my contact, press the I, then turn on read receipts.
Read receipts.
Oh, read receipts. And then his response was, what? And then obviously tweeted about it. So my thing is that I have trust issues. They do not reach read receipts levels, though. I don't give a fuck. If you're gonna ghost me, you're gonna ghost me whether you read my text or not.
Yeah. When you read that to me originally, you go, so no second date then, and I was like,
no second date.
And I was like, okay. Here's the thing. I just want to make sure to the listener, it's not that I think that that's a normal thing to do. I completely agree that is. I've never heard of that. I've never heard somebody saying that. And I made sure of other things that I thought were more inappropriate, such as I was like, wait, she's asking him to do this to his own phone? Like, yes. So she's not going into her phone and doing this. Like, she's not, you know what I mean?
No,
that to me is fucking psycho.
Yeah, you have to show.
Yeah. But that to me, like, if he would have gone to the bathroom and then she would have gone.
Oh yeah, no. We're splitting the check if you do that.
No, splitting the check. Get the fuck out of here. I'm leaving you and you're paying the whole fucking check. Get the fuck out of here. So, like, I asked questions that I was like, okay, so let's make sure I got the situation correct in my head. And do I think it's normal? No. Have I ever heard of that? Of somebody asking that? No. Especially on the first date? No. But I don't think it's immediate. We're not gonna go on a second date. I don't think that's an immediate. I think that's a conversation to be had.
Like a deal breaker?
No, I don't.
You
think
don't think it's a deal breaker?
No, I think.
it is for
Don't
me.
get me wrong. It's definitely a flag.
A giant fucking flag.
I don't think it's a giant flag.
Red,
I think,
not white.
I think it's I think it's a flag. I don't think it's a giant flag, but it's definitely for me. If I was in a situation with this girl, I would have a conversation. I'd be like, "Don't you think that there's a better way of asking that? Like, don't you think there's a better way of
Or
like,
don't.
or
why?
yeah, why would you ask that, or why would you know what I mean? That's And so there's bigger, but I think that the girl has issues.
Yes.
That I think a conversation, maybe we could get, maybe not. Maybe I could ask her and she'd be like, because I fucking said so. I'm like, okay, and then now we're done.
Today,
and I gave you a chance and we're fucking done.
Today it's read receipts. On the second date, you're going to want him to share, share your location.
See, but here's the thing though. Now what that's doing to you is making you play that game of like, what's it going to be tomorrow? And so let's just take everything step by step. So this is the only thing. She hasn't asked you for a location, to share a location. She hasn't asked you to give you the password to the email. You're right, but she hasn't asked you. So I can't. You're basing to go off to start a relationship, especially but at any point in the relationship, to act based upon what they may do is wrong. No matter how you slice it, you're gonna end up losing.
But don't you think that experience is a teacher? Like if you've seen things, like I don't have an opinion about. When it comes to relationships, I don't have opinion about all men. I know my experience.
Right.
So I don't operate from this thing of like, because this happened in this situation, then it's going to happen every single time at all.
But you're saying but now you literally gave the example of it can happen.
It can.
But it absolutely can happen. But if you're operating based upon the, today it's this, tomorrow it's that, like, wait, I haven't, as a guy, as a human being, I'm thinking to myself, whoa, I haven't earned my fuck up yet. Let me fuck up. I may just as well fuck up exactly the way you think I'm gonna fuck up, but let me do it before you fucking react. Now you're doing that whole.
There's like an anxiety to it.
Now you're doing that whole Minority Report shit where you're arresting me for a crime I haven't done yet.
You thought about.
Yeah, like you know what I mean. That's that crazy kind of shit when you hear those stories of like a girl dreaming that her boyfriend broke up with him. Or cheated on her, and then she woke up and beat him. It's like, what the fuck? I haven't fucking. That's exactly what's happening now.
If you're having dreams,
can you deduce that, or can you assume that this girl is gonna ask for crazier shit later on?
Yes.
But if you're operating a relationship based upon what she
may or may not do,
then already, like, why don't we have a conversation first? So that's what I'm saying. That you're absolutely right. It can happen.
I feel like you're way more self-evolved when it comes to dating than I am, and it's a problem because you're married and I'm the single one.
Here's the thing though, but it's funny.
I feel like you should be a coach, like in my ear, if I ever go on a date.
This is and thank you, but this is a true story. This happened to me years upon years ago. I once would give advice to my coworkers, and I worked in a place that 90% of my coworkers were women. I'm giving that stat, making that number up, but it was a lot. It was a lot of women.
I feel like that's a fair assessment.
But I think it was a fair assessment. And I was single. I was in my 20s, and I would give a lot of relationship advice to women who were not only my age but also older than me. And one of the advice that I gave, that would be like, I don't think, they would ask me, why is he not calling me back, and blah blah. And one of the advice I gave, let's do the math, okay? Because I was 21 when I got this job.
So 15 years ago. So 2004.
Is it? No. Was it 21? I was 20. Yeah, 20. All right, so whatever. So 2003 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I would give this advice, and then and I would say things like he doesn't like you, or he's just trying to fuck you, or he doesn't want a real relationship.
He's not that into you guy.
And 3 years later, I have a friend goes, by the way, did you know you wrote a book? And I go, what are you talking about? There's a book called He's Just Not That Into You.
That book is amazing.
And they said, and my friend, a woman, she said, I read this book, and the whole time I was like, Nery's told me this.
Yes.
Neri said has these exact same words.
Yes.
And I was like, yeah. I go, and then I was a little offended. I was like, fuck, I should have written a book.
You can't even stay awake for fucking subtitles and you want to write a book?
I know, but I could speak and somebody else could type it. It'd be fucking great.
Okay.
Like if one of those women that I give this advice to would have written this shit down, that would have been fucking, we would have been millionaires, man.
Yeah. No, that book is amazing.
Well, I saw the movie because obviously I'm not going to read a book, but I can't even read a movie. I'm not going to fucking read a book.
Well, if you wanted to watch it again, it's in my account.
Do I?
I think you do.
I don't. I don't, because at the end of the day, that girl got the fucking guy anyway.
It's a it has a fairy tale ending that has nothing to do.
I don't care about the fairy tale ending for certain people. Like Jennifer Aniston with Ben Affleck, she deserved the fairy tale ending.
Correct. That makes sense.
That was a great fucking story. What I didn't like is fucking Cinderella hooking up with
Jennifer Goodwin.
Right, hooking up with Apple Guy.
He has a name, but I can't think of it right now.
It's Justin Long.
Who also dated Jessica Day for a little bit.
Jessica Day. Oh, that's right.
In the
Yeah. But
that ending's bullshit.
What I don't like is that he was literally the prime example of he's just not that into you, and somehow because she called him out on his shit,
she ended up being the exception.
Get the fuck out of here.
Yes, 100%. 100%.
That's the part that bothers me.
And in my defense, it was $4.99. I didn't even spend that much money on it. But anyway,
You know what I'm upset about? I can't even buy Titanic.
Yeah, I own it, and Dave owns it.
I can't. It's not even just a digital.
Kick me out.
No, I gotta kick myself. I gotta kick myself out.
Oh yeah, kick yourself out.
No, but it's $19. I'm not spending that much money in that movie.
Well, it was on sale a little while ago. Yeah. The point is that he's just not that into you.
So that's the same kind of advice that I'm trying to say now about relationships. Where you can't. You know what I mean? Like, there's
no way for you to tell.
They haven't earned a foul yet. So the referee calling a foul.
But to me, that's a foul, though.
I think that is a foul, but let's have a conversation about it. It's not a game-ending foul. It's not you're out of the game foul. To me, it's let's have a conversation. Now, that conversation could very well be because I want you to, and that's what I fucking want you to do. Or it could be some other shit. What if she obviously has legitimate trust issues, but what if she gives you a fucking story, and what if that story happens to be true?
Can you think of an actual example?
Yeah, I could think of an actual example. I could think of being ghosted, and she's like, I've been ghosted a million times before by guys that I like, and it's fucking hurtful for my self-esteem and I drive myself crazy going, did he read it, did he not, what's going on, whatever. That to me is understandable. I'm not saying it makes it right. I'm saying it's understandable. Let's have a conversation about it. Now, if she goes, because I want to make sure you fucking read it, and when you don't reply, I know that you don't reply.
I'm going to nag you. Then that's an issue.
Then that's an issue. But to me, I've been ghosted before. Everybody listening to this has
everybody
been ghosted.
in this room, for sure. Except for Lady and Blue, they never get ghosted.
So everybody's been ghosted before, and it fucking hurts. It fucking bothers. Like, the funny thing is, to me, I've been ghosted a few times, and it always took me a while to realize, I'm being ghosted.
Right.
Like, that's, you know what I mean? And I have that paranoia about them not receiving my messages for a long time, not just for women. Like, as a comedian, you do that where you send your dates to a comedy club, to a comedy booker. You say, hey, I'm available to work at your club.
Right.
These are my dates that I'm available. And they never respond to you. And you go, okay. And then 2 days later or 3 days later or however long later, I just want to make sure you got my email. I sent an email last time, and then because of the fact that you're quote unquote thirsty because you want to work.
Right.
It fucking hurts when they don't respond. Right. Yeah. And now if they would respond and be like, "Thank you for your email. We'll take this into consideration." Then you're okay. At least I got that.
Right.
That's the red receipt.
Right.
And as a comedian, I've gotten that my entire career. Right. And that's where. So I've been ghosted professionally. I've been ghosted. I've been ghosted from relationship standard and situation. So. Again, I don't think it's an automatic you're fucking out. Now, for comedy purposes on Twitter, I'm sure they're coming up with a fucking million hilarious scenarios where it'll be fun. And I get it. I totally get that it lends itself to. All I'm saying is that's why you were mad at me. You were disappointed when you read me the situation. I go, okay, and then what? And then you're like, no second date. I was like, whoa, that's fucking fast. Like, I've never dismissed somebody that quickly.
Yeah, no.
I dismissed somebody. I have dismissed somebody, but not something so small. I've dismissed somebody over being dumb, like legitimately dumb.
Like, what kind of dumb?
Well,
like the earth is flat?
No, dumber.
Dumber than that?
Dumber than the earth is flat.
I'll take that bet.
Okay.
I'll take that action, sir.
All right. So go on a date with a girl, right? And I keep forgetting to put this in my act, but I really need to because this happened to me 16 years ago. I remember this like it was yesterday. I know the story backwards and forward. So I'm on a date with a girl, right? I'm in a situation at that point where I was living with my parents, but I didn't have a day job because I was quote unquote just a comedian, right?
Okay.
At a point where financially I should not be
dating.
I should not A, dating, or B, without a day job. Like I really.
Oh, right. Okay.
But I was like, it's in a weird phase in my comedy career where I knew I was better than the work that I was getting and I should be getting more. And I was still getting work, but I wasn't, it wasn't financially feasible for me to not be working. So I meet this girl on MySpace, right? Taking it back to the old school.
But I've heard a story about MySpace.
No, it's not the wife.
Okay.
So no, I also met her on MySpace. So I meet this girl on MySpace, and we go on a date. My first date was always Starbucks. That was my go-to first date because it's cheap, right? You spend $5-6 on 2 coffees and you people watch, and then you tell the girl that it's because you want to get to know her.
15 years later, it's not $6.
No,
but go ahead.
no,
16 years later, it's like 15.
Yeah. So.
But go ahead.
My whole thing was like, she was like, "Oh, why don't we go watch a movie?" She goes, "Oh no," her thing on Facebook. She goes, "Oh, I've never been to Starbucks," and I go on MySpace. She goes, "I've never been to Starbucks," and I go, "Okay, well, let's just go and we get to know each other. Have some coffee or whatever. Like, they have other drinks that are not coffee. I don't like coffee, but we get other drinks." And then she was like, "Well, why don't we go to the movies?" And I was like. All right, so we go to Dolphin Mall. To those of you who are not local, you paint the picture. It's a mall. We go there and we buy tickets for Walk the Line.
Great movie.
Okay, right? So we go tickets. Here's the problem. The movie doesn't start for another 2.5 hours. This is during the holiday rush. So there's 1 billion people in fucking Dolphin Mall. It's a huge mall, but there's a lot of people in Dolphin Mall.
Okay.
Movie doesn't start for another 2.5 hours. The logical thing to do, right? Grown up Neri. If I had money, even then, Neri would be like, let's go to TGI Fridays or let's go to one of the 30,000 restaurants that they have here and we go get something to eat before we watch a movie, right? That would be the logical thing to do.
Okay.
I don't have any money. So I go, let's just walk around and talk and get to know each other. So I say, "Oh, you've never been to Starbucks?" And she goes, "No, I haven't." I go, "Well, why don't we go to Starbucks?" And she goes, "Well, what if I don't like what I get? I don't want to, make you spend money for no reason." So on one hand, I was nice of her. On the other hand, I'm like, you automatically assuming I'm going to pay already? Like, God damn it. All right. So I said, "No, don't worry about it. If you don't like it, I'll have it. I'll have it. And I'll just get you a Frappuccino, and it's pretty much just sugar and caramel." So,
it's a stomach ache.
So we are in line. Again, holiday season, very long line. We are in line at Starbucks. Talking, blah, blah, blah. Maybe about 6 or 7 minutes have gone by. We've talked about Starbucks. We talked about her never being to Starbucks. Online, we talked about it with the phone, we talked about it in person. We're in line, Starbucks, and
you're at the Starbucks talking about
Starbucks.
Never being to Starbucks.
I can't believe you've never had it. But I go, again, this is 2000,
Does
early
she have
2000.
a favorite color? Like,
she goes, "Oh my God, I just remembered." And she had a kid. So in my mind, I'm like, fuck, something happened. She left the fucking stove on. I don't know what the fuck, right? I just remembered my sitter said I couldn't, whatever. So I'm thinking this is where she's going to go. She goes, "Oh my God, I just remembered." I go, "What?" And she goes, "Swear to everything holy on earth, this is a fucking direct quote. I used to work at Starbucks."
you're such a liar.
I swear to you, on my children's eyes. On my children's eyes, I swear to you, may God strike my children if this is any bit exaggerated, not exaggerated at all, fucking truthful. I didn't add any words. I didn't take any words. I didn't omit something that may have led her to
Yes, I believe you that you were saying the truth, but now I need to hear what the fuck you said to that.
So I said, "What?" And she goes, "I used to work at Starbucks." I go, You have told me many times that you'd never been to Starbucks and you used to work. How do you, what?" And again, she was like 24 at the time, maybe. I don't know how old she was, but she wasn't, it wasn't like she was senile. I'm not fucking dating somebody who's senile. And then she goes, it was only for like a month and it was like 2 years ago. And I was like, but you just remembered now. Like we've been in line for minutes. We've been like, I don't understand.
So, were you able to get a refund on your tickets, or you just lost the money? Or
I swear to you, on everything holy on earth, I was done. I was like, this is not gonna work out. That was I can't back out of this. So I've made like definitive decisions, being like, we're not gonna do this. I ended up when we walked around, we kept walking around the mall waiting for the movie to start. Would make the most asinine and disrespectful comments because I was like, I just want to make sure she's aware this is not going to work out. This is not.
What's that like?
What?
When you make asinine.
Well, when I say
comments.
when you get into like past relationships and you get into like you being single and how long you've been single and stuff like that, and I say, well, my last relationship, the girl was great, and every girl that I meet after her, I compare every girl that I meet after her to this girl.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh my
That is an awful thing to say.
My stomach just hurt. Oh my God, that's terrible.
That is terrible. However, it was
I
only
would rather you call me fat.
it was only said because
to make sure that she was not falling in love with you.
That I was like, this is not.
Couldn't you just have called her dumb at Starbucks? Like just called her an idiot?
I
or you
legitimately
really
was
wanted
shocked.
to watch the movie?
No, it wasn't even about the movie. I was trying to get laid still.
I respect that. That actually the math checks out there.
And we did.
So,
and we did.
oh, good for
And we
you.
did. So check this out. Second date, right? Because
You went on a second date with her?
She gave me a hand job on the first date. So I was like, this is gonna lead to something else. The second date. So,
Wait. She gave you a hand job after your first date. The first date that included all the asshole things you were saying to make sure that she knew that you guys weren't going to be a thing.
Right.
Her reaction was, okay, I'll give him a hand job.
Well, we also had a conversation. She literally, and she put me in my place, rightfully so. She said, why would you tell any girl that? That's not something you ever tell to any girl.
Right.
Called me out on my bullshit.
Correct.
And so that, there was a conversation had. It wasn't like I just made that comment and we all moved on.
No,
like
I understand. I don't.
So later on, we saw. Then you gotta understand. There was another hour and a half after that comment was made by me. Then there was a movie, and then there was a car ride home. There was a conversation, car ride home. There was a whole thing. It wasn't just like, oh, I said that comment, and she was like, well, now I gotta jerk this guy off. Like it wasn't immediately afterwards. But you're right, it is still a thing. So in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to be with this girl. If I never see her again, I'll be fine with that.
This was before or after the.
Once she made the comment, I was like,
no.
Done.
Is this before or after?
Oh,
the
even
hand job?
even after the hand job, I was like, I'm
Thank
fine.
you.
I'm fine. Yeah,
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Thank you. Tip your waitress. And she kept calling me, and I didn't want to fucking reply. She kept calling me and texting me. I didn't want to reply. And at one point, I go, look, I would love to go out with you again, but I just don't have money. That's a fucking sign, right? Again, I'm doing the cowardly shit. I could have just said, hey, you're stupid, and I don't want to fucking...
Hey, thanks for the hand job, but you're so fucking stupid that I couldn't bring myself to buy you a croqueta.
And she's like, so why don't we just go to my house and watch a movie? Why don't you just come over to my house and watch a movie? Dude, that's,
That's a 2004-3 equivalent of Netflix and chill.
Yeah, and it's literally one of the, we're going to fuck, right? That's a thing that even dumb 25-year-old Neri understood. This is going to happen. So I was
but maybe you weren't going to fuck. Maybe you were going to make love.
So we're not done with the story.
Oh, God.
So
I'm actually really nervous.
So we get to her place, and again, holiday season. She has a Christmas tree. She just got the Christmas tree.
Wait a minute. I feel like I've heard this story.
Yeah. So she goes, isn't it a beautiful Christmas tree? Yeah. Now, I don't mean to be, bougie, but there were many, many winters where I spent selling Christmas trees. I worked at Christmas tree stands, and I worked Christmas trees.
This is your story, not hers.
My personal story.
She's not telling you this on the couch, correct?
My personal story, I used to work Christmas tree stands for a couple of years. I know the difference between a spruce, and there's
right.
Douglas fir,
it's an art form.
Douglas fir, there's a whole thing. There's actual, like, all trees are not created equally. They're not. It's just not, right?
Yeah.
So I don't need to be that guy to know that there's something wrong with this tree. And it's not beautiful.
I do know this story. I did not know the Starbucks part of it, but I do know
because it's different dates, but it's the same girl.
Same girl, same dum-dum, different date. So second date.
She said, isn't it beautiful? So it's the most beautiful tree that I've ever had. And I was like, cool. Why is it like flat on top? It's like flat. Like there's no tip to the tree. And she said, well, because it was too big, it was too tall, and it wouldn't have fit in my house. It wouldn't have fit my ceiling. And I said, why didn't you just trim it from the bottom? And her exact, again, quoting, verbatim words were, oh my God, that's true. She goes, oh my God, you're going to think I'm so dumb now. And I was like, no, not now. This has already happened. We already talked about Starbucks. It's already happened.
God.
And then we had sex, and it was decent sex, but not on my behalf. Like you
did not put.
I didn't.
effort?
It's very difficult, and I know it's gonna sound stupid, and it's gonna sound not believable, but it's very difficult for a man to get turned on when I'm just not.
You're going through the motions.
I was going through the motions.
That makes sense.
I was going through the motions, and then, like, she was hot, man. She was a hot chick. I'm not even gonna lie. She was a hot chick. But I was just like, I'm not attracted to you. You're so fucking dumb that I'm not attracted to you. It's taking everything I have, my concentration, for my dick to get hard. Like, it's not happening. She would blow me, and then I put the condom on, and we were gonna have sex, and it kept shrinking, and I was like, oh, it's not working. And I was like, blow me again, and she's like, but you've already had a condom. I'm like, just keep fucking blowing me. And I just, yeah. So it was not.
This reminds me of the scene of Forgetting Sarah Marshall where they might get back together.
Yeah.
And he can't get hard.
And like, why can't I get hard? That's how it was.
My dick doesn't want anything to do with you because you're the goddamn devil. Fucking love that movie so much.
But my dick didn't want anything to do with her because she was fucking stupid. Like, my dick was like,
That's a thing?
But I know, but it's the stereotype.
And I'm not being an asshole.
No.
I'm really, you know how I ask you questions about these things.
The stereotype is guys are always down to fuck. And for the most part, you are correct. But there's a line. Every guy has a line. And for every guy, there's a different line. For every guy, I mean, some guys are super shallow and be like, if she's fat, I'm not fucking her.
Right.
If she's fat, I can't get my dick hard.
Right,
blah,
right,
blah. But to some guys, is if she's a bitch. If she's bitchy, I'm not gonna fucking be
Right.
My line is apparently fucking
IQ.
lack of common sense.
Right.
Like, it's not even IQ.
It's not even IQ. Yeah, you're right. It's common sense. It's common
and
sense.
I'm just like, I can't.
You can't remember your resume from 2 years ago? That's a problem.
Fuck a resume. You walked in there. You told me this multiple times. It's not even like I sprung it on you. I'm like, hey, here's Starbucks. And you go, oh, I've never been to Starbucks. I go, really? And you go, oh, fuck, no, I forgot. That's a different situation.
That's the turnaround there is a lot faster. But this was hours.
Days, because her fucking original comment was, I don't want to go to Starbucks on our first date because I've never been to Starbucks. I don't know if I'm going to like it.
So you think she's in politics now?
So I was like, all right, whatever. But my line is common sense.
So wait, so then.
So I was awful late. Like, I'm sure if you ask her, she'll be like, oh yeah, he couldn't get it up. And she's not wrong.
Okay, so second date, the tree, the sex, you're done. What happens? Does she want a third date?
Yes, she wanted a third date.
And what'd you do? Pretend you joined the army or something?
I wrote a blog on MySpace about how the girl that I was into was leaving to New York.
Nary. Oh my God, Nary, what the fuck? Oh,
hey man,
oh my God.
Hey man, I was like 25. I wasn't the fucking mature person that you see now. That you see in front of you.
Be on.
He's just not that into you. He's just not that into you.
But would you, now going back, like, would you have been like, listen?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Now going back, I wouldn't have had sex with her. I'm being honest.
You would not.
I would not. I would not have had sex with her. I mean, that's gonna be a tough sell. That's gonna be a tough sell to younger me. Like, if I go back in time now, if like 37-year-old Neri goes back in time,
like the Will Smith trailer that you sat through yesterday.
Oh my God, that's another story. Hold on.
Yeah.
So 37-year-old Neri goes back in time and is talking to back then Neri, 25-year-old Neri, and it's like, hey man, now it's gotta be even longer than that. I had to be like 23 because I've been with Vanessa for 12 years. That would be right around that time. So I had to be even before that.
So your first MySpace experience?
It was one of my first. I had 3 MySpace experiences. One of them, I went to Starbucks. She had awful breath, and I never wanted to talk to her again. And apparently, I didn't do anything for her either because she never contacted me again either. So we both kind of ghosted each other. So it was a mutual ghosting. So I was totally fine with that.
Yeah.
And she was Nika, which is the only Nicaraguan girl that I've ever dated, that I've ever been on a date, because we didn't date. We just went on a date.
Yeah, correct.
The only one. And I had such high hopes. I was like, oh, maybe this would be one. Maybe I can date my own kind. And then I was like, nah, your breath is god-awful. I can't do it. And again, I'm sure maybe I was too fat. And she just didn't, I mean, pictures are pictures. I didn't fucking lie. But maybe she just saw me in person. For whatever the reason, she didn't want to talk to me either or continue it. And I was fine with that. And there's that one, and then there's the girl that wasn't on MySpace, even though we did kind of talk afterwards on MySpace, but that wasn't it. And where was it? There was another one. There was another one where it was another Starbucks date, and nothing came from that. It was like one of those again. So there was 4 MySpace interactions. One of them I married. So.
Okay. So.
But if I go back in time.
Yes.
to 23, however old I was. Fuck, I wonder how old I was.
You're gonna do the math later.
I was gonna be killing me. So if I go back,
Well, you
time,
said Walk the Line. Walk the Line came out in 2004.
Let's talk about that. Let's see. Let's confirm those dates.
I'm pretty sure.
I know for a fact that it was Walk the Line, 2005.
Oh, I was off by a year.
So 2005. So 2005.
That's 14 years ago. So you were 20.
Right. So I'll be 38 in like a week. So we're looking at 1981. No.
You just subtract 38 from.
No, I'm gonna subtract 2005 from 1998. 1981. It's 24. So I was 24 at the time. And if I go back in time now, if 38-year-old Neri goes back in time to 24-year-old Neri, and she goes, bro, don't do it. This is what's gonna happen. I know 24-year-old me would be like, oh, she's already, like, the first date was already awful. So I don't want to go back for a second one. But 24-year-old Neri is still going to look at that hot chick and be like, but you're saying I get laid, though. Like, it's guaranteed. You're pretty much already guaranteed. Like, you know what I mean? If you have affirmation.
Just spoiler alert, you're going to get laid.
Yeah, if I have the sports almanac of you're going to get laid. Here are the dates that Neri gets laid, and this is a for fact. You can put everything on it. It's going to happen. I would probably still would have taken it, but I mean, it's gonna be a tough sell. But I wish I could be like, it's not even gonna be good. I had fun, but she did not. Yeah.
Okay.
So,
wow. I did not know as much about the Christmas Story, but wow.
Yeah.
That's.
I keep forgetting to put that in my act, but it's a true story.
I mean, you should.
Really
you should work it in there
should.
somehow. So yesterday you went to the movies.
Yes.
And you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, but before that you sat through The Traitors
For Gemini Man,
which is the movie where Will Smith today crosses paths with a clone of him.
right? We're assuming it's a clone. We don't know what exactly.
Yeah,
but
we
it's
haven't
from
seen the
trailer,
movie yet, but
the trailer says.
I feel like that movie. I've seen that trailer the same amount of times that I saw the Mission Impossible.
Yeah, but you do go to movies a lot, though. Like, I feel when you Missy start complaining about how many times you've seen a trailer, I'm like, that's not fair though, because the average person doesn't go to the movie theater every single week of their lives. It doesn't. It's really difficult.
In my defense, it's $5, so I'm there for the bargain, not for the movie usually. But yeah, okay. So this Gemini Man.
Right.
Present day Will Smith crosses paths with a clone.
Present day older looking Will Smith
right
crosses path with
a
what
clone.
we assume is a clone
or some site, but it's like Fresh Prince of Bel-Air 91.
Yeah, but it's him, right?
And so go ahead.
All right, so first of all, I get there and I literally buy tickets. The movie started at 4:20 and I got there at 4:25.
Okay.
So the seats available, and there's only one showing at that theater. That day, there was only one showing. It was that 4:20 showing.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't like there was. Mm-hmm. So, point of saying this is that most of the tickets are sold out. So it's either the very front row, or one seat that's in the area where they have 3 seats, and those other 2 are already taken. So in my mind, I thought I was gonna be crashing somebody's date. It wasn't
in a third wheel.
Yeah, but it wasn't. It was like a friendship date. It wasn't like So I get there. We're watching the trailer. And the lady next to me, I don't want to say girl, the lady next to me turns to her friend on her other side and says, man, they casted that really well. And she goes, who? She goes, that guy looks just like him. And what? They casted the actor and I'm hearing the other girl's side of it too. She goes, what? She said, they casted the actor that played the younger him, they casted him really well.
All right.
And she says, that's him. She goes, who? Is it Will Smith? Yeah. But the guy that played the younger Will Smith. She goes, that's him too. She goes, he's playing both Will Smiths. He playing both. And the girl goes, yeah. And he goes, but he looks so young.
And Neri tells.
And I was just like,
Neri's telling the group the story.
And I literally, as this is happening, I'm doing this kind of like side eye, and without looking down, I'm taking my phone out too, like.
Yeah.
Let me type out this fucking conversation because I don't want to forget what this fucking dumb lady just said.
And he says it, and my reaction was
this classic.
I was like, wow, I didn't know my mom went to the movies today. That's so weird. because Maria would definitely. So it is 100% something that Maria, you would have to explain it to her multiple times before she understood.
You would have to show her the behind the scenes footage of what they do.
I would have to get Will Smith on the phone.
They graph his face and they got to like do this technology.
Yeah.
And even then she's like,
I don't even want to show her avatar because I feel like it would spend too much time telling her why they look so lifelike. Do you know what I mean? Like and this makes me sound like an awful daughter, and maybe I am, but my mom, it takes her a really long time to understand what the fuck you're trying to explain to her.
You know, we've talked about this on the air before, and we don't know, obviously not everybody listens to every episode, but we've talked about your mom thinking that her internet is different than your internet. When she has to go look at something, you put up your phone, and she goes, "Not from your phone,
laptop.
Not from your laptop.
Not
go
your
on my computer.
Go on my computer." And I'm like, it's the same.
And she goes, "Go on my." She literally said the words "my internet," and I was like, "Whoa, wow."
There's moments where, and thankfully, this one that I'm about to share, my aunt was visiting from Chile, but I had a witness in the room because 9 times out of 10 nobody's there for me to look at, like, what the fuck, how do I answer this? So my mom turns on her computer, and it's in her mind it's taking too long to start up.
Right.
It's an old computer. There's 10 different reasons why it's taking.
Right.
So she turns to me. She legitimately 100% wants me to tell her why her computer is taking so long to boot up. And it just so happens that my aunt was in the room, and I looked at her, and I'm like, I just looked at her, I motioned to her, and I'm like, how do I answer this question? And we just start laughing because it's like an impossible. Like, I don't even think somebody in IT could explain it to you.
Yeah, you'd have to test it out. You would have to do. You
would
have to run diagnosis on it.
Yeah, I just can't put I'm not like a fucking Christian pastor that can just put my hand over it and like, it's got a demon. It's got a demon virus in it. Those are not my powers. Yeah, I got tons of those stories, but he tells us that story.
My dad today was like, "Hey, can you calls me, right? He lives behind me, calls me and goes, also my dad's way older than your mom, so I'm gonna go ahead and just, put
my
that out
mom
there.
is
my dad's almost 80, right?
Okay, no, my mom's 60.
Yeah, my dad was almost, I think he's like 78 or something like that. So I was like, my dad calls me and goes, "Hey, can you come back here? I have a quick question for you." I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "I forgot my password to log into," and I'm already fucking I'm like, "Oh no!"
Oh, I know.
No,
it's like PTSD.
No.
You're
Yeah,
like, no, not today.
No. So I'm not bullshitting you. When he goes, "I forgot my password," he hasn't finished a sentence, and I'm going into I'm already reaching for my phone because I have all his passwords.
Correct.
Like,
yeah, that's how you save your sanity.
And I'm like, all right. So I'm like, and then he's like, "To my voicemail," and I'm like, oh, I don't have that one. I don't fucking have that one.
Plot twist.
So I was like, so he goes, "So I'm going to call it from here. I'm going to call the voicemail, and it's going to give you directions on how to do it, how to change it."
Right.
My dad is not fluent in English. When I say fluent, I mean doesn't know any of it. So in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, this is a valid question because he doesn't speak English, and the machine is telling him
you're on his side.
The automated system is giving instructions that he doesn't know what to do.
You are on his side.
I'm on your side, buddy. I'm here for you, Bobby.
And
Let's do this. So then he calls the voicemail machine, right? He calls the voicemail, and it's in Spanish. And I go, okay. So he says, type in your code, type in your password, and he doesn't know it. So I go, I'm waiting for the machine to tell me
Give you another
the instructions.
option.
And then he goes, oh, you got to type in whatever. So I just type in bogus numbers, 0000. And then the machine gives you instructions on what to do. Literally says, if you forgot your password. In Spanish.
Oh.
If you forgot your password, hang up, dial $. It doesn't even say pound or hashtag. It says el botón de número, like it's, I forgot how it says the phrase, but it's clear as day what it is. Type in 212, whatever the fucking number is, I don't know, and press pound again, and call that number, and it says the new number will be texted it to you. So I do exactly what the phone tells me to do in Spanish. And within half a second of me typing those numbers, there's a message in Spanish that says your new password is the last 4 digits of your phone number. That's it. So then I call back the voicemail, this is why you were knocking and I wasn't picking up and I wasn't getting the door because I was back there. And I go, what's your last four digits of your phone? He tells me. I type it in. Boom. Worked. And I go, that's it. That's your password from now on. It's the last four digits of your phone. There's no way you can forget that. You're done. Forget about any other password. This is it. You're done. This is the simplest password I could ever come up for you.
Oh,
right?
man.
And then he goes, oh, okay, thanks. And again, I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry. I was just like,
You get to, it's like
But again, he's almost 80 years old. Though. He's almost 80 years old. And
your dad gets a pass.
To be fair to my father, who I love very dearly, and I feel bad for even bringing the story up on air, but to be fair, he's almost 80, and he's much more technologically sound than my mom, who's not 80, who's younger than him. So, to be fair, there was just a hiccup. It was just a hiccup. It was just, and we've all had those days, whatever. And for the most part, those kind of conversations, I don't have a lot with my dad.
Right.
I've had multiple conversations with my mom about my phone. The ringer's not working. My phone is not working. It doesn't make any sound. I miss calls. And then I got to go to the side of the phone and click the phone and click the volume thing. And that's it. And she goes, but what makes me laugh about the whole thing is my mom was always like, the phone's broken. I'm like, okay. However, whenever something's not going the way the phone, it's broken. I'm can we just not diagnose it with broken? Can we just tell me what tell me what the symptoms are, and then I'll see if they're broken.
Yes. But don't for me.
Imagine getting a flat tire and being like, the car's broken.
I need a new car. Last Thursday, for me.
We love our parents. I swear to God, we love our parents.
For me, what kills me is, and I know we're running up on 2 hours, but what kills me is when she gives me riddles, unsolvable riddles, and then gets mad at me for not knowing. Give me an example of these riddles. I have one. Just from last week, last Thursday, I get home. I hadn't even been home.
Less than a week ago.
Yes, sir. 6 days ago. I get home. I hadn't been home. I went from work to my nail appointment. I met up with some friends for dinner. I get home. I promise you, hand on a Bible, swear on everything that is dear to me. I have not taken 2 steps into this house. Okay? I open the door. 1 step, 2 step. And I hear her go, hang on, Missy's home. And I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Something happened. What? I'm already in that what mood. She moves. Okay, let me paint a picture. On the TV, she's obsessed with Queen. That's her thing now. She found this video of where they do a side-by-side of the last scene in Bohemian Rhapsody.
Oh my God, my best friend on the cruise 2 weeks ago made me, on the cruise, he not only does he tell me about it, but he makes me put. And then here's the thing: he didn't have internet on his phone, so he's like, "You got internet on your phone?" I'm like, yeah. And he's like, "Pull it up." I'm like, "I'll look at it later." And he goes, "No, look at it now." And then every step of the way, he's like, "Look at that, but look at that, bro. He even did that, bro." And
Tell him to come to my house so you can sit with Maria because it's exactly the same thing. So I walk in. And I see the fucking YouTube video again. This lady is a teenager with a phone. She's watched it in my car when I'm driving her somewhere.
She's watching the same video over and over again.
The same video in the waiting room, in the waiting room to see her doctors, in my room, everywhere. She's seen this. So I walk in.
Well, you got a brand new TV. So in her defense, that's the one place where I'd be like, I want to see what it looks like.
I did tell her to sit down for a second. So you're right. It's my fault. But I walk in 2 step. And she goes, hang on, Missy's here. I'll call you back. She can help. And I'm like, oh my God, what? The TV's going, right? With the split screen, whatever. I've seen this video. And then she goes, this is what she hangs up the phone. She goes, the internet's broken on my phone. And I go, what are you talking about? She goes,
I like the fact that, this is a very Hispanic thing. When something goes not the way we like it, it's always the other thing's fault or the other
100%.
person's fault. It's even
she gets mad at the phone, she gets mad at me, she gets mad at the person on the phone, like a Comcast.
Just giving you the example. When you drop something, let's say we're holding a cup of coffee and we drop the cup of coffee, we go, "Oh, I dropped the cup."
Right.
In Spanish, we say "se cayó," like
correct.
The fucking cup's fault.
Yeah.
The cup.
It jumped out of my hand.
So to the non-Spanish listeners of the podcast, just understand the literal translation of
the cup fell.
The cup fell
Yeah, but you were holding it.
Yeah,
you dropped it.
Yeah, it's literally like, it's not the cup fell. It would be more like the cup dropped, and I'm like, well, no, you dropped the cup,
yeah,
not
correct.
fucking the cup didn't
like it
drop.
didn't jump.
Yeah, it didn't drop. You dropped
Correct.
it. Like there's a fucking difference, and that's what happens in same thing. So the internet's not working, right? She could say, hey, the internet isn't working, or I can't get the internet on my phone, but she goes, the internet's broken. I'm like, wait,
the internet's broken in my phone. Now wait, to make it even better, she has last year's model, the XR, right? That one.
Yeah.
Okay, I have.
It's the most current model.
Correct.
The new one's about to come out in 2 months, but
correct.
The most current.
I
model.
have the 8 Plus. My phone's almost 2 years old. I don't know the new up. I don't know how to use her phone that well. So she hands me the phone. She goes, the internet's broken on my phone. I'm like, alrighty. I'm like, bitch, restart it, whatever. In my head. I'm like, what's going on? She goes, and I don't understand because it's not broken in the TV because I'm watching the Queen video again. She goes, and the cable's working. So something's wrong with my phone because it's only in my phone. I look at my phone.
Her phone.
No, I look at my phone because
right.
naturally it was going to connect, and I see that I have it connected. I try to pull up Google. I'm like, oh, it's not working either. Something's up with the router.
Right.
I go, she's like, but why? Why isn't, I'm like, I don't know. There was a storm. Could be different. I don't know. Let me call. But you tell them that. I'm like, okay, I'm going to tell them whatever the fuck I want because I just need them to fix it so you can get off my back. I go to my room just to double check. I reset the router. You know, all the shit that they're going to tell you to do anyway, whatever. Finally, like after 20 minutes, I get somebody on the phone. He's like, oh, I see that this is a new router. Long story short, there was some kind of configuration to the new router that wasn't completed when we installed it that he had to send over virtually to restart or whatever. By the time that I'm finishing this call and the internet's working again and my phone and her phone everywhere, she's like, doing the thing that where I have one ear to the guy, which you know from firsthand experience how pleasant it is to be on customer service with Comcast. And then I have this lady, this gnat in my ear going, but I want to ask him a question. But tell me, but hold on, don't hang up with him. And I don't give a fuck anymore. It's been 45 minutes of my life that I want back. So I'm like, okay, thank you so much. Bye. I hang up. She's like, you hung up on him before. And I'm like, what was your question? Well, what was wrong with the internet? I'm like, it wasn't the internet of the planet that was broken. I explained to her what happened. She goes, well, how come YouTube was working? I don't know.
Well, I know the answer to that one.
What?
It's because the TV, I'm sure, was connected directly to the router.
Probably, yeah.
So she wasn't using Wi-Fi.
She was using the cable things.
So
and then she was
literally using the Ethernet.
Probably.
And she wasn't.
Probably. And then she goes, and they didn't give an explanation as to why the cable was working. I'm like, Mom, the cable is a different service. It's like internet, cable, phone. The phone and the cable were working. The internet was down. But was it the whole? She keeps and I'm repeating myself. By this time it's 10:15, bro. I got home at 9, and I'm like, I try to explain it to her again. I go, all that matters is that you can go back to your phone
and look at the same video you were looking at on the
correct.
TV.
You want to restart the video again so you have no interruptions.
Oh my God, that fucking video.
Just please release me so I can go shower and pack for my trip.
Listen, I think there's only 2 people who've ever watched that video.
My mom and your friends.
That's it. That's the only 2 people.
Dude, everywhere. Doctors. My mom is that old lady that watches videos super loud, and you're like, fucking turn that down, bro.
When I was watching the video on a cruise ship, we're watching the video. At fucking 3 o'clock in the morning, we're watching the video. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. Oh, that's cool. Like 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, how much longer is this fucking video? And
it's a whole performance.
15 fucking minutes.
Yes,
I was
sir.
Like, and I go, okay, yeah, it's cool, bro. All right. And he's like, bro, keep on. I'm like, dude, I'm not watching a fucking 15-minute video. I'm sorry. I'm not going to sit here and just watch a whole 15-minute video.
Send him to my house.
I'm like,
send him to my house. I bet you his wife doesn't even want to fucking watch anymore. Send him. Mario will make him dinner. And
he did put me on to one of the songs that I didn't know. Again, remember we've talked about this, that a lot of songs that I don't know are Queen. So, Radio Gaga.
Oh, I love that song.
He was like, "But Radio Gaga's amazing." I don't think I've ever heard it. And then he made me download. So I downloaded it. He didn't make me.
He's showed you.
He was talking it up so much that I was like, "Nah, I gotta fucking hear it." Then. So I heard it, and it was so funny because I heard it. I was like, "Yeah, it's pretty good." These guys are going places. These guys.
They're really gonna make their snap. But yeah, anyways, yeah, that's the internet's broken in my phone. Check your phone. I'm like, it's gonna be the same internet. So if it's broken on yours, it's probably broken on mine. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it sounds like I have no patience with my mom, and the reason that it sounds like that is because I don't.
I thought you were gonna say because of years of knowing.
No, I don't. I don't. I love her. I never want her to die, but I would be happy for her. I would pay for her to take a course for senior citizens that will explain the dynamics and why your daughter, because she has 2 kids. My brother's there, but why your daughter your daughter's things are books and movies and music and politics. 1,000 different topics that I could talk to you about. I cannot explain to you why the internet breaks.
Here's
she doesn't seem to understand that though, or I can't tell you why your computer's lagging and starting, Maria. I'm so sorry.
Can you imagine the fucking person who has to teach that class?
A saint.
An actual
Jesus
fucking
himself.
Saint. An actual saint. Mother Teresa.
Correct.
Has to be like the amount of patience that there.
Yes. I don't even think the Pope would have this much patience.
You know what?
You know what?
I gotta be honest with you. I think those judges that award like weird fucking like you were fined for littering, so now you have to go and dress up as a litter bug and fucking teach schools like weird punishments.
That shit. Yes.
That should be the weird punishment for anybody committing.
You will never, ever, ever commit another crime again.
Yeah, there has to be.
You just only have to have my mom in your class. I can't even speak on the rest of the senior citizen population.
No, but we can. Yeah, we can.
No,
I've met. There have been times where I'm doing crowd work at a show, just talking to people, getting to know them, and that I always like to talk to people who've been married for a long time, and people who've been married like 50, 55 years, something like that, over 50 years, and I go, "What do you do for a living?" And there's been a few times where they go, "Oh, IT." And I was like, what? And I go, IT. And then last time I go, like, computer stuff? He goes, yeah. And I go, like, you fix computer? That was your job? And I go, sir, but, you're seasoned. You're a little more seasoned than I expect the average person when I go. So this is the quote that I did. I go, so when you were fixing, like, people would call you with their computer problems, and he's like, yeah, and I go, and then you called your son, and then your son told you how to fix it.
No, if you really want to laugh, you should have, I'm going to call you next time that there's an IT issue and her boyfriend is there. My mom has been with her boyfriend on and off, pretty much for 30 years. Yeah. But they are both now very hard of hearing.
Right.
And they both suck at technology. So if you leave them it's like a show to watch them try and figure out and understand each other, what they're trying to get through. It's a fucking shit show.
That would be a great like Instagram live.
Oh my god! You know what? I should fucking do that next time. I should on Missy Ryder on my IG. I should totally fucking go live and be like, I know this is about my blog, but just peep into my world for a second. That shit could probably get me on Ellen.
It's hilarious. All right, so thank you guys for checking us out.
This was fun.
It was fun. It started off a little weird because we were talking way too much about TV, but it went about TV characters. But it went fun. We got serious for a minute, and then we came out of that.
We
and
bickered. We called Vanessa.
Yeah. So thank you guys for checking us out. Make sure you check out Missy's blog on her aforementioned
MissyWrites.com, and on Instagram you can find me in Missy Ryder.
Missy Ryder. And then you get my comedy at whatwashisname.com, ordinaryscience.com, whatwashisname.com. Geekbro.net is the place to go for all the other Geek Bro podcasts, including the Mount Geekmore podcast, Mamas and Merlot, which my wife Vanessa is part of, the Talking Geek, Better Let Me Tell You, Comedy Fitness, Zeros on Hero, and Morbid Curiosity. We're adding another one that is, as of right, by the time this comes out, it'll probably be added already, but I don't want to say it because in case something happens. But we're adding another one. There's a new podcast.
Oh, fun.
So make sure you be on the lookout for that. That's geekbro.net. Again, that's geekbro.net. Thank you guys for checking us out. That's how winning is done.
That one.
What's Up Bro podcast. Hey, this is the What's Up Bro podcast. We talk about movies, TV, geek stuff, news, pop culture, and it's funny, motherfucker.